You'll hear from Graham Potter at half-time of Manchester United-Chelsea, which is just underway in the rain at Old Trafford. Here are Pat Nevin and Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much. Champions Manchester United straight onto the attack with Noussair Mazraoui down the right-hand side. Thunderous rain, even by Manchester standards. It is teeming down here for this 5:30 kickoff of the Premier League. De Ligt tries to prod it into the penalty area. Cucurella is able to make an interception, and Estevao clears away for Chelsea. This is a game you'd always usually look forward to anyway, Pat Nevin. And current circumstances mean a real hunger for both teams to get the result today.
Yeah, complete desperation. I think serious desperation for Manchester United. Yeah, they played not too badly in one or two games this season, but they find themselves absolutely at the wrong end of the table, and a defeat today could find themselves in the relegation position, which is harsh, really, considering having played Man City, Arsenal and now Chelsea, but that's the reality.
Those are the standards demanded of Ruben Amorim and any Manchester United coach. From a Chelsea point of view, this is their 6th game of the season. Disappointed to draw with Palace in the opening weekend, then 2 good results, beat West Ham and beat Fulham. Since then, a draw at Brentford, a defeated Bayern Munich, and Chelsea will probably feel they need the importance of a win here and what it would bring them away at Old Trafford today. Sanchez clears the ball out straight to Dorgu, not a good clearance. Reece James gets across Fofana with a touch inside the penalty area. Chelsea kind of got away with that. That was sloppy in defence. It'll be interesting to see how much the rain does affect the touches of the players. Estevao runs into Mazraoui, and that is a victory for the Moroccan in the first head-to-head battle between those two. Estevao, this thrillingly exciting Brazilian teenager, but Mazraoui was quickly in to shut him down there.
Yeah, and he's trying to use as much experience as he can against the teenager. Might push him back as much as he possibly can. What Chelsea want to do is get the ball to him in the final third and ask questions of Mazraoui and De Ligt behind him.
Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0, 5 Live and BBC Sounds, the Premier League's tea-time kickoff on a Saturday. Ruben Amorim making 2 changes from the defeat of the Manchester derby last Sunday. Harry Maguire into the team. It's his first Premier League start of the new campaign. Casemiro restored to the midfield. Ugarte's gone to the bench, and so too Lenny Yoro as Dorgu attacks down the left-hand side. Dangerous ball in. Mbeumo, header on target. Saved away by Robert Sanchez, still alive here. Mazraoui on the right-hand side, sends in a cross. Chalobah clears it away. Dorgu is in! Great tackle! What a tackle from Reece James! He's hurt himself in the process, but just as Dorgu was about to pull the trigger, Reece James flung himself in the way of it and made a very important block, and it's been a pacey start to the game as Pedro Neto runs it out of play on the far side. 0-0, Pat Nevin.
Brilliant start again, very, very good with Manchester United. Dorgu getting down the line there. If you play with wing-backs, they've got to get down the line, they've got to ask questions and put balls into the box. That was a classic there, and they're very lucky not to score from it, so United will be lifted to that. Has started quick, but isn't that always the case in rainy days?
I've commentated most of Manchester United's games this season, and Dorgu is getting into good positions. He hit the crossbar against Arsenal here last month. He had a few chances against Fulham, I remember. I think he had a chance at the derby last weekend. He's getting into the positions, Patrick Dorgu, but he is still looking for his first ever goal for Manchester United. So these are the teams. Bayindir keeps his place in goal. Maguire, De Ligt and Shaw the back 3. Mazraoui and Dorgu the 2 wing-backs. Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes in the middle of the midfield. And then Ahmad alongside Mbeumo, who could be in. Out comes the keeper. Sanchez takes him down. Mbeumo was running clean through. It's a free kick. It's outside the penalty area, but they're baying for further sanction against Robert Sanchez. It's a straight red card. We've not played 4 minutes yet at Old Trafford, and Chelsea are down to 10. Sanchez sprinting out of his penalty area, cleaning out Mbeumo, who was clean through, and the referee had little option, red card.
Well, Sanchez had to come for it. I mean, it was the simplest, classic one-touch move. Lobbed up, battered long and high. Chalobah tried to win the header. He lost the knock on. I'm sure it was Sesko got the little flick on. That means Mbeumo was away, flying in towards the goalkeeper. And as I said, just seconds before, in this sort of rain, things happen. The ball was smashed up through, header right on by Sesko, who wins it easily. It's the oldest one in the book. And see, if you come out that far, you've got to win the ball. Simple as that. If you don't win the ball, you're wrong. You didn't win it. I don't know why anyone is even making the slightest complaint about that. That is the absolute definition of a red card.
Well, he didn't have to come, Sanchez. Yes, Mbeumo's clean through, but once he leaves his penalty area, he's got to get the ball, as Pat said, and Maresca knew it. We've just seen a replay. Maresca, the minute it happened, knew that the red card was coming. Robert Sanchez is off the field. Chelsea are going to have to take off an outfield player. Oh, this is disappointing,
I think
isn't it?
Esteval, yeah.
The taking off Esteval. I was looking forward to seeing him today. And they're going to bring on Philip Jorgensen. What an opportunity for Ruben Amorim, though, to get a win now. They have got, I mean, by the time all the stoppages are adding up, they're going to play more than 90 minutes here against 10 men.
Well, every plan you had, if your Chelsea's gone out of the window, you completely change it. You know, and it's interesting because Chelsea, remember, have played during the week. They've travelled all the way to Bayern. It was a hard game. I was there. They had to work really hard and they didn't get anything out of it in the end. Now they find themselves 10 men at, I mean, I'm watching down here just now, there's even another change going to be made by Maresco. Yet another one.
So just to confirm, he's brought on the goalkeeper Philip Jorgensen. Sanchez sent off, Esteban hooked, and now is it Reece James coming off too? Hang on, he's coming over to have a word at Maresca, and it's going to be Pedro Neto. But it's almost like Maresca's going, right, we're taking off the flashy wide attacking wingers and we're going to batten down the hatches as he brings on Tosin. James was only brought over for instructions, so Tosin comes on. Wow, I mean, in a way, it's kind of ripping off the plaster here for Maresca. He's not going to ponder it, see how it goes for 10 minutes. He realises this early in the game, it's now become defend.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different ways that managers tend to deal with things when you get down to 10 men. You can go 4-4-1, you can go 3 big centre-backs, which is a possibility here. You can get Chalobah, Tosin and Fofana all playing. You get James will move to a wing-back alongside Cucurella. So you could have a 5 and 3 in the midfield and 1 up front. So we'll see how it sets out. But Chelsea have got hard work ahead of them. They've also got a free kick to deal with just now, which is in exactly the position, almost to the millimetre, that someone like Fernandes would like it to be. And indeed, Mbeumo fancied it. He's recovered, by the way. He was wiped out big style for that free kick there. So but it looks as if he's okay again.
If you're just tuning away, 5 Live at BBC Sounds, dramatic start to this game. Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0. Chelsea down to 10 men. I mean, we hadn't even had a chance to list out the Chelsea team, and it's already been dramatically changed now. Double substitution, complete reassessment of the situation for Maresca. Let's get this free kick out of the way, and then we'll describe to you how Chelsea are going to play here. But Bruno Fernandes' right foot, maybe Bryan Mbeumo's left, on the edge of the tee. Bruno Fernandes into the Chelsea wall. Bryan Mbeumo, and it deflects, and that will be a corner to Manchester United. 11-man Manchester United now up against 10-man Chelsea.
Yeah, exciting time for Manchester United fans. There was a bit of uncertainty when they started this game. The Chelsea fans were in great voice before the game. That's all changed now. A little bit of a disappointment for Bruno there. Whatever you do, get that free kick on target. The keeper's just walked on. He's not touched the ball yet. Ask him to do something. Make sure it's on target. It wasn't a very good free kick at all, and it hit the wall. And I think it was maybe even James's chest it hit.
Manchester United corner to be taken by Bryan Mbeumo. Of the 4 goals Manchester United have scored this season, 3 of them have come from set pieces. Harry Maguire gets his head to that one. Cucurella not quite clearing it off the goal line, but just in front of the goal mouth as it's hooked back in, and De Ligt tries to get there, and good goalkeeping. First touch of the ball for Philip Jorgensen, the Danish goalkeeper, to put it out for a corner. It's his first competitive appearance of the season.
Do you know, heart and mouth moment there. Jorgensen went out to the back post to get that ball. He just got it no more. Had he missed it and taken out the player, massive trouble there could have been for him there. So Chelsea under all sorts of pressure. I think they've been out of their half once. And the way the looks of the game started just now, they might struggle to get out of the half for most of the rest of the game.
We're in the 10th minute. Bruno Fernandes to take the corner. Left-hand side as Manchester United come forward. Loads of movement from red shirts in the middle. Here it comes from the Manchester United captain, in-swinger Fofana's powerful header, out to Ahmad, drills it in low, too many legs in the way, and then anywhere will do for João Pedro as he just clears the ball into the Manchester United half, and he almost sheepishly gives an outstretched palm expression to his teammates and say, well, what else was I supposed to do there?
I'll tell you what he should have done. He should have passed it 10 yards to his right, where Cole Palmer was flying up there, would have found himself 1-on-1 against one defender. but he had 70 yards to go, right enough.
Here's Doku just on the edge of the penalty area. Manchester United fans who love to chant attack, 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 and they feel even more emboldened in that now against 10. Doku's cross in. Tosun wins the header and it goes out for a throw-in on the far side. So it looks like they're going 3 central defenders with Fofana, Tosun and Chalobah, and then Cucurella and Reece James as the wing-backs, and pretty much a flat back 5 at the moment. Chelsea will try and push those wing-backs up if they can, but it's going to be difficult for so long with 10, and as Pat referenced, after a tough midweek away in Munich as well. And Mbeumo on the right wing for Manchester United, under pressure from Cucurella, back through to Leighton all the way back to Harry Maguire, 0-0.
It's looking like a 5-3-1, although the one will be João Pedro. I don't know how far he's going up the field, and he's got a little bit of a support there from Cole Palmer now and again, but the emphasis on being now and again.
Here's Casemiro, middle of the park, gives it to De Ligt on his right-hand side. De Ligt fancies one, but it's miles wide. That's 25 yards wide of the target from Matthijs De Ligt, who got 2 Premier League goals last season, and he slots back into defensive position here.
This is massive for Manchester United now. What an opportunity. Don't do silly things. De Ligt's shooting from 30 yards out at an angle when you've got an extra player and lots of people running into dangerous positions. That's not the right move there. You've got to do a lot better than that. You've got to stretch that Chelsea defence, who are going to get tired, they're going to be stretched, it's going to be difficult in this huge pitch here. Not do silly things like that. And I suspect, we've just seen Sir Alex Ferguson in our monitors here,
waving the imaginary red card as soon as the challenge happened, by the way. Fergie was waving his left hand in the air. He knew the red card was coming. Šeško, it has to be said, who's not had another touch of the ball, did brilliant to flick it on for Mbeumo in the build-up to that. Here's Mbeumo down the right-hand side, tries to cross it in, and it's blocked away off Chalobah, and that will be a throw. But yeah, really good target man work from Šeško to beat, I think it was Chalobah in the air to flick the header on.
Is it the oldest skill move you've seen this season? Launch it long, flick it on, and the 10 runs on for number 9. They don't wear those numbers anymore, but that sort of play, those positions, it's just so old and so obvious, and Chelsea will be disappointed they fell for it.
Pat, you're a better tactician than me. It feels this season Premier League's got a little bit more direct with things like throw-ins and balls over the top and teams, launching it a bit more, or am I just imagining?
No, it's absolutely the case, and people think tactics are all one-directional. They're not. They're cyclical. They come around again, and certainly been used. And there's no right or wrong way to play football. There's ways to win and ways not to win. And if you're winning and getting goals by getting long throws or long bottles or lots and lots of well-worked corners, then so be it.
Earlier on today, Liverpool won the Merseyside derby at home against Everton. Spurs drew away at Brighton. Burnley held Forest to a draw at Turf Moor. There was an away win for Crystal Palace at West Ham that heaps the pressure on Graham Potter. Manchester United on the attack on the left-hand side here. Fulham against Brentford is the 8 o'clock kickoff this evening in the Premier League. Shaw has come forward here. Cucurella's found himself normally the left wing over the right wing position covering, but Luke Shaw wasn't able to keep the ball in play, and Chelsea regain possession. So still haven't given you the Chelsea team. So this is the lineup. Jorgensen in goal. The 3 central defenders, Fofana, Chalobah, Tosun. Reece James and Cucurella the wing-backs. Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez in the midfield, and then it's Cole Palmer and João Pedro trying to offer some presence in attack. Chelsea had started with Neto and Estevao in the wide positions, but after Sanchez was dismissed, they had to bring on a goalkeeper, so Pedro Neto was hooked for that, and then he brought on Tosun. It was Estevao went off with the goalkeeper, brought on Tosun instead of Neto. Manchester United attack. Dorgu's header. Bruno Fernandes. No offside flag. Manchester United score. He stole a march. He looked way in behind the defence when he finished, Bruno Fernandes. But as the header was struck, I think it's good. I think he's onside. Manchester United lead after 14 minutes, and it's Bruno Fernandes with what is his 100th goal for Manchester United.
That's exactly what you do. You stretch teams, you put it in. But definitely, Chelsea players are complaining. Look, don't complain. If it's offside, VAR will spot it. That's one of the positives you actually see of that. Cucurella shouting over the assistant referee. I actually thought Reece James was a bit sluggish going out from the right back area. So you're looking at the centre backs, but is that really going to be where the danger is? Do you know what? It's unbelievably close. It is going to be one of those ones where you're going to have to look at it through. Is it the right foot of Chalobah? The right foot, and it's going to be the shoulder of Cesc on the shoulder of...
Well, so just to paint the picture
Right.
for the view, there's two Manchester United players. Fernandes scores. Šeško might well be in an offside position right beside him, but Šeško doesn't touch the ball. Now, is there a case to say, well, he's right in front of the goalkeeper? Is he active? They're still looking at it, but I'm with you, Pat. I think Chalobah's outstretched leg might be just playing Bruno Fernandes on.
Sometimes when it takes this long, you think, maybe not. Maybe it is. You know, maybe...
We live in the era of semi-automated offside. I think they're doing this one old school.
It's so tight. I mean, honestly, naked eye, we've seen it twice, can't see it. Can't tell you. And we're in a decent enough line with it as well. So this is when technology helps. This is when you either are or you aren't offside. And this is when I actually quite like VAR, because it'll give you the right answer now, or at least it should give you the right answer.
Peter Banks is the referee. He's talking to both captains. And in the VAR hub, it's Craig Paulson, assisted by Adrian Holmes. They're still looking at the replays. Sometimes they're kind of saying, well, is there some other issue? Is there some other factor in the build-up? Something else that then negates whether he was onside or offside? You never quite know what the deliberations are, but this one, for an offside decision, is proving quite lengthy. If you're just joining us in 5 Live, 16 minutes in, Manchester United hope that they've just scored through Bruno Fernandes. Chelsea playing with 10 men after the really early dismissal of Martinez, and that roar in the background will tell you that Manchester United's goal stands. Manchester United won, Chelsea 0. Bruno Fernandes was onside.
Well, you couldn't tell in the naked eye, and the technology's had a good look at it. And people will complain it's taken a long time. I'd rather just got it right. If it takes a while, it takes a while. Get it right. 1-0 to Man United, and they do not look like a team that's going to sit back and accept just a 1-0. They're chasing Chelsea down already.
Chelsea played with the back five, as we've referenced. Chalobah was the only one who didn't really push up, and he's the one who played Bruno Fernandes on. So, double disappointment for Maresca, the own goal. The early goal conceded now too.
Casemiro's just got booked, I think, there for a tackle on Enzo. No need whatsoever to make that challenge. But what you've done is actually got yourself booked. You have to walk on a tightrope now. I'm not saying the referees are looking to even it up, but this advantage you've got of an extra man, don't be surprised if Casemiro doesn't last that much longer after half-time.
Yeah, well, it seems imperative that Manchester United keep 11 on the field now. This has started really well for Ruben Amorim. The opposition down to 10, and Manchester United in front. In Scotland earlier on today in the Scottish League Cup quarter-finals, Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 1. Rangers against Hibs as the tea-time kick-off. Here's Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, just 1 minute in, Connor. Rangers 0, Hibs 0. Just 3 wins from 12 in all competitions has made alarm bells sound early in Russell Martin's tenure so far, and this is a massive game to try and get through to a Hampden semi-final in the League Cup. Nico Raskin starts for Rangers, the Belgian, who has rebuilt previously broken bridges with boss Russell Martin. 0-0 after 2 minutes.
Nice Kenny, chance for Manchester United here. Brian Mbumo just on the edge of the penalty area, left foot, got a bend, got got a whip on it, but he couldn't get the dip, and it sailed just too high of the target there from Brian Mbumo. But he looks comfortable in those positions, Pat, when he, on the right-hand side, pulls it onto his left foot and tries to curl it into the far
He's
side.
completely at home. I'm watching Fofana just now, and that player does not look fit to me. He doesn't look 100% to me. He tried to make a tackle about a minute and a half ago, and I thought, you better sprint back. He couldn't move. He absolutely couldn't move.
I think they're going to change him, you know.
Is that all right? They are. Oh, because if he's moving at that standard, they'll get trounced.
Wesley Fofana, who started against Brentford last weekend, that was his first Premier League start since March. He's had a wretched track record with injuries. Wesley Fofana, very talented player, but he tends to pick up bad injuries that keep him out for long periods, and he is looking with discomfort as Chelsea are preparing what would be their third substitute of the game already. Andre Santos is getting ready to come on.
Yeah, Santos is actually very, very good, but he's not centre back, so they're going to have to change it again. So to try to figure out what the tactics will be for Chelsea after they do this. Maybe Santos will go to a kind of right back area. He's more of a midfielder, but he could do that. It would allow Reece James to move into where where Fofana is. I mean, we're taking it for granted it's Fofana, but I can't imagine who else it could be.
De Ligt there was fouled by João Pedro. Free kick to Manchester United on the halfway line, and the fourth official holds up the board and tells us that Andre Santos is coming on in place of Cole Palmer. So they've taken off Neto, Estevao and Palmer, and there is much pantomime glee from Manchester United fans who wave goodbye to him.
That's got to be injury.
Do you know what this reminds me of, Pat? Did you see the story in the week? Robbie Savage's Forest Green were playing in the National League Cup.
Yes, I did, yeah.
A minute played, he took off 4 regular starters, because the competition rules is you have to have a certain percentage of players who started in the league of the weekend have to play in the Cup. But he obviously didn't want them to play, so he, letter of the law, started them and took them off after a minute. It's almost like Maresca here is going, OK, take off the firepower and bring on defensive players, and if we get a 0-0, well, it's already 1-0 down, but if we can get a draw here, it ends up being our most robust performance of the season.
To be fair, Cole Palmer's injured. You don't do that. I know it looks as if it's an extreme thing. You probably never take Cole Palmer off unless you can help it, but just as he walked off, I'm looking at his walk and he's not walking right, so I think Cole Palmer, he's had injuries already this season, and as we're watching him here, he's walking down towards the dressing room.
These young kids today, they have that louchy walk. They kind of swagger their way.
I'll also note that he pointed to his left.
Well, there
thigh.
you go. There you go. That's the key. That's the key. That's the smoking gun. Here's Joao Pedro on the attack for Chelsea. They've not been in the penalty area yet. Cucurella tries to cross it in, blocked by Mazraoui, and De Ligt wasn't able to keep it in place, so that will be a corner. Corner to the 10 men of Chelsea, who trail here by a goal to nil.
By the way, underline, listeners, Fofana's still not moving that well. He's still on the pitch. He tried to chase back before and he couldn't really turn and move, so whether it was just a little tweak and he can run it off, I'll tell you what, mate, you've no choice now, you've got to run it off. Interestingly, Chelsea have really pushed it here. They've got a corner kick, they're not going to go up the pitch that often the way the game's going just now, so those big guns, I mean big, physically big guns, they're all up there just now.
No Premier League team has scored more goals from corners so far this new season than Chelsea. This is their opportunity now, playing with 10. It's a set piece like this that could work for them. Played in, Šeško wins the header of the front post, comes down to Caicedo, who's got a couple of Premier League goals against Manchester United in the past, but his shot can't get through the forest of bodies, and now Manchester United look to break against a rapidly retreating Chelsea defence, but Caicedo, the man who took the shot on the edge of the penalty area, is the man who's back to tackle Ahmad on the edge of the area down the other end. Doesn't that just sum up Moises Caicedo?
It did brilliantly. And by the way, Fofana's finally got back now. I'm not saying he's not a fine player, he's nowhere near the match fitness that he would want, that he would normally have, but he's been out for a long time. It just looks to me like a player has been rushed back too quickly, because I watched him run back when Manchester United run back's been kind. It's not his fault, he just couldn't move at a decent pace, and when you've had 3 or 4 players have gone off already, you're going to have to stick with this.
And I wonder what is the mindset of Enzo Maresca here, so Pat. I mean, he's got Hato on the bench who could play in a back 3. Why is he playing Fofana today? Is it trying to play him into match fitness?
Partially, we want to do that. I mean, you can train well, and then after 10 minutes of a game, you find out it's not quite working. There's plenty of players who've done that. You've tried to go through it, run through it. You're being brave because you're desperate to get back. But we should keep an eye on him. But it's, Manchester United don't care. They will look for any weakness or any problems they can find. And they're not having to look far now to find problems at Chelsea.
I was about to say this has been a very stressful start to the game for Chelsea. We've reached the quarter point of the match, 23 minutes. 1-0 to Manchester United, Chelsea down to 10, 3 substitutions made already. Chelsea rather in disarray, and Manchester United have to surely seize this as an opportunity to run up the score here and get a comfortable win. But football is rarely that straightforward, as we well know. Tosun does well in the shoulder charge against Šeško, rolls the ball back to Jorgensen, Philip Jorgensen, who did play most of Chelsea's Conference League games last season. He started the final. Cucurella has gone down with a head injury, and that's why the referee has to hold up play. Manchester United supporters vocal there because they thought the referee had given a free kick to Cucurella. I don't think he has done. I think he's just stopped the play because it is a head injury for the Spaniard.
It is one of those ones where Cucurella's got a bit of history and people are never convinced by him. But the way he went down there, he seemed to slightly catapult his own face into the ground. And he's not acting there. He really thumped himself on the way down. Oh, that could have been an awful lot worse than, Oh, that was very ugly the way, even in slow motion, that looks quite vile to look at. But he's got himself up. He's a hardy lad. And he's taken a real, as we say in Scotland, dull one right to the face. And by the way, no one hit. It was a challenge. He just got himself in a bad position and he fell face first.
All right, Cucurella getting treatment, just making sure he's okay. Earlier on today in the championship, wins for Birmingham, Queen's Park Rangers, who won against second place Stoke, wins for Blackburn, Preston, Hull, Wrexham, Sheffield Wednesday down towards the bottom of the table, and Charlton as well. Full details on the BBC Sport website. In the Premier League, another goal for Hugo Ekitike, giving Arne Slot an interesting selection dilemma. Isak did come on for Ekitike as a substitute in that game, but after Ekitike had already got on the score sheet, 2 goals in the first half hour for Liverpool at Anfield as they beat Everton by 2-1 here at Old Trafford. Back underway, Reece James calmly heads the ball back to the goalkeeper Jorgensen. It is Manchester United 1, 10-man Chelsea 0.
Conor, it's really infuriating. It is the rules, I know. Chelsea are down to 10 men. Cucurella's got injured. It's a head injury. It's not his own fault in any way whatsoever. Still not let him back on yet. 30 seconds you have to wait for it.
No, but it's
down to 9 men. It feels grotesquely unfair. Yeah. But it's just the rules.
Well, there's a reason for the rule as well. Is as we well know, players were using the fact that a head injury stops the game tactically sometimes to. I mean, and that is a fact. That did happen. I'm not going to name names, but that happened. And what they're trying to say is, right, okay, if you do have a head injury, of course we stop the game to look after you, but the restriction on you doing it too often is it needs to be a genuine head injury. You need to be willing to sit out 30 seconds to get that treatment.
Absolutely. And hey, I'd be stronger than that. Even I'd find out if you find a head injury, you should get booked immediately.
Full stop. So hard to prove. That's the trouble, isn't it?
No, I'd rather even look at it after the game.
Yeah.
Because it's the one thing that's the most offensive thing. Well, one of the most offensive things in game. Pretending that a head injury, when in actual fact we have great fears of head injuries and the effect that they can have on players in later life. I think it's one of the most offensive things a player can do.
Agreed. Here's Reece James coming over the halfway line for 10-man Chelsea here, trailing by a goal to 0 at Old Trafford. This is 5 Live at BBC Sounds of the Premier League. Chalobah comes over the halfway line now on the left-hand side. He's got Andre Santos ahead of him, gives it to Cucurella on the left-hand side. A ball into Caicedo. Chelsea trying to string a few passes together here. It's been a really difficult start to the game for them. That was an ambitious crossfield ball by Caicedo, and it's intercepted by Dorgu, and Manchester United come again, and we know how fast Ahmad is, storming down the left-hand side. Good recovery from Fofana, no slouch there. Wesley Fofana matched Ahmad stride for stride and made the slide tackle.
He did brilliantly there, and you really had to open his legs completely there, and he managed to do that. I think Man United had been looking for a moment to test out that pace. Well, when he needed it in that moment, he got it. Had to go to the ground, but he did it well.
Yeah, we know Ahmad, naturally, he's a right-sided player, but he's been deployed on the left side of the two behind Sesko with Mbeumo on the right-hand side, and Ahmad's pace up against Fofana is going to be an interesting one to watch. Challenged by Cucurella off the ball, and Mazraoui there. As he ran past him, he's fouled him. Free kick to Manchester United. I wonder what the intent there for Cucurella, but...
Well, Cucurella's not complaining for a millisecond, so I suspect it's a fair cop. You can usually tell by a player's reaction, can't you? But funnily enough, Man United, 3 or 4 minutes there, they've kind of not kept the pace up against 10 men. When they're up against it, they're having to make so many changes. Keep on asking them questions. Make sure you can put this game beyond them. You know, if Chelsea can settle into a more comfortable situation, then they might be able to get back into this game.
Free kick is touched by Bruno Fernandes, so Bryan Mbeumo can bring it forward, loops it in, but too close to the goalkeeper, and just a few groans around Old Trafford as Jorgensen gathers comfortably there. Enzo Fernandez, I think Luke Shaw pushed him as he tried to break forward there, and Enzo's making quite a deal here to the referee, saying that Shaw should be punished for that.
It's one of those ones, if it's a wee push maybe, but if he's tugged his shirt, he should be ill. And I think maybe that's what Enzo's suggesting.
I've seen a clear replay of it. It seems to be a similar thing to what Cucurella did. He's wrapped his arm around it, but he doesn't hold it there. Wraps the arm and lets go immediately, and that's always a mitigating circumstance these days. We'll go for an update on Rangers. In fact, let's do it now. Manchester United leading 10-man Chelsea here. Rangers against Hibs in the Scottish League Cup quarter-final. Here's Kenny Crawford.
13 minutes gone still, Rangers 0, Hibs 0, but the game was paused for a couple of minutes there. As many people know, this is against a backdrop, this match, of unhappiness at Russell Martin, the fans protesting outside Ibrox before the game, and in the 12th minute they threw on behind that Copeland Road stand onto the pitch. A lot of items like small coloured balls that had to be cleared off the pitch again, and the sign said delaying the inevitable, Martin must go. So lots of unhappiness. Russell Martin needs a result tonight. Rangers 0, Hibs 0.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Manchester United trying to attack down the left-hand side. Fofana shields it, protects it away from Ahmad, and the ball runs out of play. So for listeners joining us, Chelsea forced to make 3 substitutes inside 21 minutes today after the red card to the goalkeeper, an injury to Cole Palmer, Enzo Maresca really having to completely throw his game plan out the window. More than 3 decades of the Premier League, Pat, no team has ever made 3 substitutes inside 21 minutes before.
It was a weird situation, and the way they had to change the team about, they had to move it, and in one of the substitutions, obviously, I'm convinced there's an injury as well on top of that, so all against him.
Here's De Ligt, urged to shoot by the crowd, but he tried to cross instead, and Fofana clears away, not very far, mind you, and Mazraoui has it on the right-hand side for Manchester United, up against Cucurella, level with the edge of the penalty area, back to De Ligt, sends it across, which Tosun wins in the air. Then Luke Shaw down on the deck for Dorgu on the left-hand side. Reece James getting him really close to Dorgu, snapping away at his ankles and forces the ball out for a throw into Manchester United, which they take quickly. Ruben Amorim's team, very grateful to have scored that goal after VAR review for Bruno Fernandes, because they've not exactly been peppering Chelsea's goal with shots since then. Here's it, Mbeumo sends it across again. Tosun wins it in the air again, and then wonderful ball juggling skills by João Pedro to flick it over the top of De Ligt and try and run around the other side, and then he says he was fouled, João Pedro, and the referee says no, and the boos are because they think João Pedro was acting there. Play on. This is Dorgu down the left hand side, tries to cross, blocked by Reece James, throw into Manchester United. Here's Pat Nevin.
I have to say the referee was in a brilliant position to see that there, so he absolutely feels that João Pedro not made the most of it, dived. Question is, see if he's dived, might not get a card out.
Yeah.
So, but he hasn't done so, and João Pedro's got up, and I suspect he won't throw himself to the ground again.
We've not seen a replay of that one yet. Right, this is interesting. Since the 4th minute of the game, Chelsea have had 10 men. The possession statistics, Pat, 11 against 10, it's 50-50.
Well,
that's a surprise.
That's what I'm saying to you. When you're ahead, you need to go and press your advantage, and I was quite surprised that they've dialed it down a wee bit, Manchester United. Since they scored the goal, you think, what do you do when you've got an extra man? You widen the pitch, you get your wingers. Oh, you haven't got any wingers. And that's the classic, isn't it? You need to be adaptable to say, right, okay, widen the pitch. So what they've done to widen the pitch is brought Mbeumo a lot further wide. That's taking them out of the central area.
De Ligt goes long, picks up Bruno Fernandes on the edge of the penalty area. Mbeumo into the box, nice ball. Ahmad has a look to see who's with him. Takes his time, patience from Ahmad, then he's got out of play surely. Crosses it for Casemiro to score, but that won't count because Ahmad brought the ball out of play before bringing it back in again.
I hate to say it though, but Ahmad, beautiful run, brilliant timing, great pass, whip it in. Just zip it across the goal between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper. There's plenty of players in there. It can hit off anyone, including a defender, but he's waited and waited. When you wait that amount of time, it gives the defenders a chance to get a good position. They did so, and he's just ran it out of play.
6:06 coming up after the live football here at Old Trafford. Roland Kemp and Chris Sutton in the chair. 0859 909 693, the number later on to get in touch. You can text as well. Much to discuss up and down the football landscape on 6:06. Match of the day with Kelly Cates tonight. He's on BBC One at 10:30. As Mbeumo tries to come on the attack here for Manchester United, putting pressure on Chalobah, who deals with it very calm and collected. Rolls the ball back to Jorgensen, the replacement goalkeeper. His right-footed clearance is up over the halfway line. Dorgu will jump in the air with Reece James. And Chelsea get possession at the end of that with Fofana into the midfield to João Pedro. Plenty red shirts back for Manchester United. João Pedro's done well to weave into a bit of space. Takes on Bruno Fernandes. Goes past him. Down in the penalty area after a challenge by Mazraoui. Referee was very close to it. Chelsea screaming for a penalty kick, but the referee says play on. And Mazraoui does play on. Feeds it into Šeško. Controls on his chest. Just outside the D. Benjamin Šeško to Ahmad. Chop back turn onto his right boot. Mbeumo, someone needs to take a shot here, and they won't because the flag is raised for offside, and a Manchester United opportunity goes a begging.
Šeško held onto it, held it really, really well, but held onto it too long. He had to play the ball earlier. When he eventually plays it through Mohamed Diallo to run into an offside position. The assistant referee kept his flag down for a while, but to be honest, That was always offside there. Just moving the ball a little bit more quickly. If they do that, they put Chelsea under pressure. But at the moment Chelsea begin to get into it a bit. Just having a little look at this João Pedro one again. You know what?
Yeah,
it's one of those ones.
He
didn't die. There was a touch on it. The tackle comes in. And it's Mazraoui. If you throw a lazy leg in like that, it's one that classically, and we've all said this before, had he given it, it wouldn't have been overturned.
The goal here in the 14th minute for Bruno Fernandes. And news reaching of us of a goal at Ibrox in the Scottish League Cup quarter-final. Kenny Crawford.
19 minutes gone, Rangers 0, Hibernian 1, and it's Martin Boyle, the Scottish-born Australia international. Long ball from deep and he outpaced Derek Cornelius. He slotted it into the bottom left-hand corner. Jack Butland got a touch, but it trundled into the back of the net. Rangers 0, Hibernian 1.
Thanks, Kenny. 1-0 to Manchester United here at Old Trafford. Chelsea have given it away on the edge of the box. In Mbeumo, poor ball. Doesn't find Šeško. And Fofana slides across, but he can't prevent it going out for a corner. Corner to Manchester United on the right-hand side. They lead 1-0 against 10-man Chelsea.
Would it be harsh to say that Ruben Amorim phoned up Russell Martin beforehand and said, sorry for the pressure you're under, mate? It's some serious pressure.
Is there a little similarity there in
a wee
appearance?
bit.
Yeah.
Well, you're not getting the crowd turning on the manager after 12 minutes here at Old Trafford. Tough times for Russell Martin.
1-0 to Manchester United. Could this be a spark for their season today? I remember being at Craven Cottage last month. Manchester United went in front, but they couldn't hold on to the lead. Difference today is they're playing 10 and they're at home. And this is Mazraoui after a short corner was taken. Dorku arriving on mark to the back post. Tried to head it back across the face of goal. Reece James up in the air. Mazraoui arriving. Casemiro! And it's in! And it's Manchester United's second goal. 10 minutes to half-time. That turns the screw a little bit now. Casemiro, who scored once in the Premier League last season, scores against Chelsea for the third time in his league career in England. That is more Premier League goals against Chelsea than any other opponent. It's a short-range header from Casemiro. It's Manchester United 2, 10-man Chelsea 0.
Casemiro scores a lot of goals with his head. He's very, very good at arriving, and when he's there, he places it. He doesn't vaguely go towards the goals. He knows where he wants to put it. It was a great chance beforehand. By the way, there's all sorts of shenanigans going on. I think Shaw and Enzo came together earlier on just after the goal was scored, but that's just a bit of infuriation. Surprised that Dorku didn't go for the header. That he had a chance at the back post, but it's all over the place. They're going to have a look to see if there's anything wrong with that. It's an offside. I can't see much wrong with that.
No, I don't think it's offside. I think the question might be, does Luke Shaw handle it? When Luke Shaw heads it, it's one of those, it's more his shoulder than his head that flicks it on, and I think part of the complaint there was he might have handled it anyway. VAR looking at everything in the background as they always do, but it would appear that this game is going to stand. He's now asking for the two captains to come over. Referee Peter Banks, and he's having a word, and there's just been a few little tinderbox moments where it's all threatened to bubble over here. Enzo and Shaw have been at the heart of most of it. The goal stands. Casemiro is making this, it's almost an unusual feeling for Ruben Amorim. Comfortable position now for Manchester United.
Yeah, fabulous position they're in, and they can go and really, really enjoy this now. I mean, they've not started the game yet. The referee's talking to them at the moment, but I think it's going to stand.
Disappointing defending from Chelsea. The space that Dorgu was afforded when he arrived at the back post, nobody had picked up that run. And despite several blue shirts in the 6-yard box, then they were in trouble and Casemiro pounced to get the goal. Back to Ibrox, back to Kenny Crawford and 5 Live.
22 minutes gone, in a similar situation to you guys, but a Rangers reprieve, because that Martin Boyle goal for Hibs has been ruled out by VAR because of a handball when he controlled Dylan Levitt's long ball, and it's back to Rangers 0, Hibs 0.
Wow.
Can Russell Martin get the reprieve that Ruben Amorim seems to have got?
Oh, Fofana's made a big mistake here. Ahmad takes it off him. Jorgensen's not in the goal. Chalobah makes an important header and Chelsea breathe again. Poor pass. Goalkeeper had come out for it. Ahmad was able to win possession. Manchester United could have been in for their third. Big roar there as Harry Maguire wins a sliding tackle. And as he got up, he pushed João Pedro. And I think Manchester United are relishing this dominance they're holding in the game, and they're really letting Chelsea know all about it. And Harry Maguire's continuing the war of words with João Pedro there as the two get back into position.
And that's what you should do. If you're up, you kind of rub players' noses in it, because one or two of them might turn. I mean, Enzo's getting angrier and angrier all the time just now. You see Caicedo's throwing in a few challenges as well. Yeah, you want to fight, you want a bit of battle. You don't want to get out of 9 men.
Enzo gives it away. Yeah, another red card for Chelsea would be game over for them.
Just before that, the chance that Manchester United had, again it was Fofana caught being a little bit sluggish on the ball, and that should have been 3-0. Definitely should have been 3-0. Wrong choices made, and Chelsea are maybe even just lucky to be only 2-0 there.
Well, Chelsea are having a torrid time. Andre Santos caught in possession there by De Ligt, and Manchester United thoroughly enjoying how they are making their visitors feel such discomfort here at Old Trafford. 5 minutes to go to the break. 2-0 to Manchester United. Chelsea playing with 10. The goals from Bruno Fernandes and from Casemiro, and Chelsea look miserable. And I can't imagine any of these Chelsea players want to stay on the pitch here. This feels really difficult for them. João Pedro has possession for Chelsea. Comes running forward, but he's got 6 opponents between him and the penalty area. I mean, there's no way he's getting through. Bruno Fernandes leans in and fouls him. No need for that. Free kick to Chelsea inside Manchester United territory.
I will say, oddly, I think João Pedro's loving it. Because he's up there, he's on his own. Okay, I better dribble then. He seems to like it though. He's going at players, he's running at them. He's getting stopped, he's getting a few free kicks and things. He's just trying to enjoy himself as much as he can out there.
No, I take your point, and he's got that Brazilian love of the game, but surely he'd be enjoying himself more if he had Neto and Estevao, at least distracting the defenders when he goes on those dribbling
I grant
runs.
you that.
I know what you mean.
I've been in that position before, when you're up front your own, and you're told, oh, by the way, you're allowed to dribble as much as you like.
Yeah,
Some
okay.
of us like that.
Chelsea want a corner, they're not going to get it. Rain is absolutely hammering down here. And it is a goal kick to Manchester United away to our left-hand side. Steve Crossman on at the slightly earlier time of 11:30 tomorrow on 5 Live, featuring various races from the Athletics World Championships in Tokyo. We'll have the Azerbaijan Grand Preview on Sports Extra 11:45. 2 more Premier League games tomorrow. Sunderland against Arsenal is at 2, and Arsenal against Manchester City is at 4:30. We're just seeing a shot on our television monitors here of the Chelsea bench, and you've got Cole Palmer down there, Estevao, Garnacho, the flair players, if you like, and they look thoroughly miserable sitting on the bench. Garnacho, who's been there from kickoff. The other two have been taken off in the game when things started to go skewed for Chelsea. Chalobah's got to retreat here, gets there ahead of him. Boom, who rolls the ball back to Jorgensen. Manchester United leading 10-man Chelsea 2-0. Jorgensen, who, at times has come into the team and done okay for Chelsea. It's not a major problem having him in goal. It's more the 10 men is the issue. Šeško allowed the ball run across his body there. Didn't have the room to do that. And Cucurella was able to get back and disrupt. Bruno Fernandes put a decent ball into Šeško there, but maybe in the Bundesliga, not in the Premier League, you don't get that much time in the penalty area.
Most centre forwards at this level get that under control, get it out of their feet and get shot away. And I think Fernandes is amazed that didn't happen there, because he's flicked the ball maybe a tiny wee bit behind him, but you should be side on ready for that. And Šeško maybe playing with lots of confidence and having scored a few goals probably takes that on and scores. Just couldn't get it at all down. I think Chelsea's biggest chance just now, if the game's waterlogged and called off.
Yeah, the rain is certainly putting that in question. Terrible ball by Enzo Fernandez there, gives the ball away again. And into it, Boom, fresh air shot. Round about the penalty spot, swung his left boot at it, and then Cucurella was late on Mazraoui, and he's going to go in the referee's notebook too. Yellow card for Cucurella. Chelsea's miserable afternoon in the Salford rain is continuing here. Cucurella, of course, appeals it, but yellow card is shown.
I was trying to think how many things were wrong with that tackle with Cucurella. Number one, you're never going to win it. 2, you go to ground, you're sliding anyway, and by the way, you went with your right foot. It's a left-footed tackle, and you're a left-footer. Oh, by the way, lad on top of that, it was 2-footed, both of them off the ground for a wee moment there. Madness. To do that sort of thing at this time, mentioned before, you're down to 10 men. The concept of taking a chance of putting your team down to 9 men is unthinkable.
He's well known for his voluminous locks, his Cucurella. It's so wet here today, they're all just sort of stuck onto his head. He actually looks different than he normally does, Cucurella. Free kick to Manchester United, bad tackle. I mean, it's getting that balance right between, okay, we're down to 10 men, we're 2-0 down, we want to fight, we want to show commitment, but you've got to keep the discipline.
Yeah, I mean, look, you slide in with your left foot and make a hook tackle. It's perfect. He's left-footed, for goodness sake. Just that's what he should do, but there's a bit of frustration about him there. You can tell he's quite hot-headed sometimes, and there's a bit of that about him, but this is not the time to be like that. Yes, fight, but as you say, not any more than that. And of course, he had a very tough time during the week. Michael Lucy made life very, very harsh for him.
9 minutes are going to be added on for stoppages here. We've had all the red cards and VAR reviews and questions as to whether goals are going to stand and whatnot, so it's all racked up to 9 minutes. Chelsea haven't had a shot on target in the game. Bruno Fernandes sends in a disappointing free kick met by Cucurella at the front post. Andre Santos gives it back to Cucurella and he clears left-footed up towards the halfway line. 2-0 to Manchester United in stoppage time ahead of the break here on 5 Live. And Casemiro swings in a crossfield ball, again picking out Dorgu, who's had good positions today. He's been able to get in around the back of Reece James regularly. Here's the latest cross in by Ahmad. Rain is only getting heavier here. It's almost affected the visibility now, it's so heavy, the rain. Mesraoui to the near side to Brian Mbeumo, and he sends that crossfield ball looking for Dorgu again. Tosin lunged in and didn't get it on the edge of the box. De Ligt couldn't bring it with him. The loose ball has fallen away to Luke Shaw, and he gives it to Dorgu on the left hand side. Chelsea back defending on the edge of their penalty area. It's been a calamitous first half for Enzo Maresca's team. Disappointing week for them with the draw against Brentford last weekend, their local derby. Then they've well beaten in Europe in midweek, and now already facing an incredibly steep uphill task in these circumstances. An opening 45 minutes that could barely have gone any worse for Chelsea, really. And Manchester United will be surely with their eye on increasing this lead as the game progresses.
Yeah, just before you start thinking of things like injuries as well. Cole Palmer, they don't want an injury to him. There's very important games coming up, and as you say, there have been games this season, the draw with Palace at the start of the season, that would have felt like points dropped. That draw you say at Brentford just in the last seconds as well, that's more points dropped. They would have expected to get something out of today's game because of how difficult a time Manchester United have had. But they're looking a wee bit tired now, and that's understandable after what they've been through, Chelsea.
Famously here last season in some games that had driving rain, there were very visible leaks in the roof at Old Trafford, and seen a sort of big flume of water coming down in one or two places off the roof at the moment.
I think that would happen to any stadium with this weather.
Fair enough,
right now.
It's that heavy, isn't it? Yeah. De Ligt here gives it back into Harry Maguire, who was presented with a framed photo ahead of kick-off. He made his 250th appearance for the club at the derby last weekend. This is Casemiro onto Bruno Fernandes, pocket of space, tried to flash it through for Ahmad, blocked by the Chelsea defence on the edge of the penalty area, but Chelsea can't hold on to the ball. Manchester United, who've had 9 shots in the game so far. Low ball in, too close to Tosin, and he clears it away, but Manchester United had strayed offside anyway. Here's Pat Nevin.
It's one of those games where if you're Bruno Fernandes, you're thinking, right, I actually can have a great time here. There's going to be space in the midfield. They'll just sit in the pockets, pick up the ball and look for little slide rule passes through. There's lots and lots of options on.
Benjamin Šeško, who has only had 1 shot on target in his now 4.5 Premier League appearances, didn't have a touch of the ball in the penalty area against Manchester City last weekend. Did play an important part though in the incident that led to the red card today, winning the flick on header, which then sent Mbeumo through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And if you weren't with us earlier on, Robert Sanchez, the keeper, came way out and you know, he knew as soon as he came out of the area he never looked confident, and he just dragged him down and straight red card. But that was good from Šeško. But what he wants, of course, is a goal to kickstart his Manchester United career.
You know, talking about the goalkeeper getting sent off there, there's lots and lots of Chelsea fans, and I can tell you that for personal experience and talking to them all. They felt that the goalkeeper has been the weak spot for a long time. He is going to be heavily blamed by many Blues fans for what's happened today.
Cucurella being towards Moisés Caicedo. I was at the Club World Cup in America in the summer, and Sanchez was awarded goalkeeper of the tournament. In that he must have been thinking, well, right, this is now the springboard for me to really boost my Chelsea career. And as you say, he's finding himself in the spotlight for the wrong reasons today. Caicedo here tries to play the ball up to Enzo Fernandez, but so difficult for for Chelsea. They've been toothless in attack, really, as Bayindir. Won't Altay Bayindir be pleased with these circumstances, because he's found himself in the spotlight and he's had nothing to do today. Ahmad comes on the attack for Manchester United, tried to loop it over the top for Mbumu, needed a more cultured attempt of a pass there. Easy pickings for the Chelsea defences. Caicedo tries to dribble it out from the back, up to Enzo Fernandez, through to Andre Santos. Good ball. Now he's got Reece James, it was ahead of him, and then a tackle comes in from Casemiro. There's no need for that, takes down Andre Santos. Casemiro is going to get another yellow card. It's levelled things up to 10 men each. Casemiro, booked earlier, picks up a completely unnecessary second yellow, and it is a red card for Manchester United in the 50th minute of this first half. That completely changes the complex of the game. Yes, Manchester United still have their 2-goal lead, but they no longer have the numerical advantage of the number of players on the pitch. Casemiro is sent off.
Do you know what? The madness of it is unbelievable. I mean, he's running over here to the side, and I think he might be having a word with maybe Enzo Maresco. Yeah, that's exactly where the referee's going to give a yellow card to the Chelsea bench, like anybody on that bench cares just now. But you think about the first yellow card he got, that was a stupid one. You think of the experience of the man, you think, what did I say to you as soon as that happened? He won't last till after half time. That's not because I thought he was going to be sent off. That's because I thought the manager, you'll have to take him off now. And him getting booked for that, which is basically not quick enough, and dragging somebody back, every Manchester United fan would have closed their eyes and thought, that's exactly how he's going to get sent off. Because that's what his problem's been for quite some time with Manchester United. Wow.
Casemiro's day, yellow card in the 18th minute, goal, headed goal in the 37th minute, yellow card in the 51, and off he goes down the tunnel. And Manchester United no longer have the numerical advantage. Remember, we were telling you that the possession stats weren't massively in the favour. Cucurella tries to shoot down the other end, and from a tight angle on his right foot, his less favoured foot, he puts it over the top. It's actually a decent chance for Chelsea. But what a fillip for them. What a boost for Enzo Maresca's team now. In a game which nothing has gone their way to this point, now a really big pillar has fallen in their favour.
Absolutely. So what you want is your most creative players on the field that can do something with that space now. Except you've not got them, because Esteval's been taken off, Pedro Neto's been taken off, and of course Cole Palmer's gone off as well. He's looking at he's got to look at his bench now, Enzo Maresco. I mean, this is where the coaching manual runs out.
Yeah, I know.
You
cannot prepare for this, right?
Seat of the pants stuff now. You're looking at the bench thinking, who can you bring on?
Well, Garnacho, it's made for him now, isn't it, against his old team?
Gittins maybe as well, but you've got to get creativity on there. It's 10 against 10. There's lots of space. You're going to get half chances now if you're Chelsea, if you keep on playing well.
Of course, he can't make too many changes because he's already made 3 early in the match. I mean, it's been. We get to see so many games. We're lucky, Pat. We go to so many of these matches. This has been a really strange first half.
I was going to say it's a marathon. It's a bizarre-a-thon.
It still goes on. We're not anywhere near half time yet. By the way, we're what are we now? 8th minute of stoppages. We play on. There'll be more added on because of that further delay in additional time for the red card. João Pedro tries to return it to Caicedo. Harry Maguire goes straight through the Ecuadorian there. Won the ball though. And credit to Caicedo, gets back up, doesn't make a song and dance. Cross from Reece James is a dangerous one. And Cucurella's going to sprint to try and keep it in play by the corner flag, but it goes out for a throw-in to Manchester United. Right full-back position for them. It's 10 against 10 here now. And that, at the very least, from a neutral point of view, should make it a bit more of a, end-to-end attacking game.
Well, what's become noticeable that Chelsea are still playing allegedly 5 at the back, but the 2 wing-backs now are not stuck in a defensive position. Both of them. Reece James has just flown the ball across between the goalkeeper and the centre-backs there. And who was the closest player to it? Cucurella on the back post. It's suddenly, if Chelsea can get the next goal, wow, we've got an interesting night on.
Reece James, who started in midfield against Bayern Munich in midweek, that was his first start since the opening day of the season. Enzo Fernandez, lovely interchange with João Pedro there to get to the byline left-hand side, but De Ligt, as tough as teak, absolute solid there for the Dutchman, wins the ball off Enzo Fernandez, who we know is combative inside the penalty area. That was very good defending from De Ligt. 2-0 Manchester United lead, goals from Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro, who has since been dismissed. Chalobah has possession on the halfway line for Chelsea, gives it to Cucurella. Isn't it amazing? Ruben Amorim, such has been the torrid time he's had as Manchester United boss, even in these circumstances, even with the opponents going down to 10 after 4 minutes, even with a 2-goal lead, he's still worried that this might have a sting in the tail for him today. João Pedro goes down a bit soft there. No free kick for Chelsea. Bruno Fernandes gives the ball away. Groans around Old Trafford. Chalobah in the driving rain gives it short into the centre circle to Casemiro. Pivots into a bit of space. Now Enzo Fernandez sends it down the right wing. Dorgu in ahead of Reece James does well, but then the clearance is straight back to Enzo Fernandez. And Dorgu was fouled, and that's a free kick. And Manchester United grateful to hear that whistle, because Chelsea would have been into the penalty area.
And you can see the psychology has completely and utterly changed. The more confident team now by some distance is Chelsea, considering all they've gone through. 2-0 down. Actually, they'll be looking forward to getting in the dressing room and thinking, we can do something here in the second half.
Right, it is half-time at Old Trafford. I've got 30 seconds, but I think I'll do well to squeeze in what's happened there. After our 9 minutes of extra time does come eventually to an end. Both teams finish the first half with 10 men. Red cards for Sanchez and for Casemiro. Goals from Bruno Fernandes after a very tight offside review from VAR. Casemiro's goal was a close-range header. Maresca took off his flair players. He took off Neto and Estevao, and he took off Cole Palmer. And now he wishes he had a bit of flair, because at half-time it's 10 each, but it's 2 goals to Manchester United and none to Chelsea. Mark.
Second half on the way, and then it's 6:06 with Roman Kemp and Chris Sutton. 08 085 909 693 in the Premier League earlier today. Liverpool made it 5 wins out of 5. They beat Everton 2-1 in the Merseyside derby at 3 o'clock. Brighton 2, Tottenham 2, Burnley 1, Nottingham Forest 1. West Ham beaten at home again in a London derby. Crystal Palace won there 2-1. Wolves are still without a point after they were beaten 3-1 at home by Leeds. We'll have more reaction to those games coming up during half-time. In the Championship, Middlesbrough still have a 4-point lead at the top of the table. Stoke couldn't close the gap today after they lost at QPR. Sheffield United still without a point. Chris Wilder's return to the club saw them lose 1-0 at home to Charlton. Sheffield Wednesday won, though, away at Portsmouth. Blackburn Ipswich was abandoned with 10 minutes left because of a waterlogged pitch. Bradford are the leaders of League One after they got a big win at Cardiff by 3-1. Gillingham are top of League Two after a 3-1 win at Newport. Dundee beat Livingston 3-2 in the Scottish Premiership, and in the Scottish League Cup quarter-finals earlier, Motherwell beat Aberdeen 1-0. There's still 5 minutes to go at Ibrox in the other quarter-final. It is goalless between Rangers and Hibs. Reaction to the day's football to come, but let's round up all the other sport. England beat France 35-17 to reach the Women's Rugby Union World Cup final. Ellie Kildunn scored 2 tries. Meg Jones was amongst the other scorers.
So much elation and joy. I just feel super proud of the girls. I think defensively we showed up, we fronted up, and I think that's exactly what we want to show. There's a lot of passion in our defence. We're relentless. We repeat our efforts. We've earned the right for another week, and we'll go again. Yes, attack, we can probably brush up on a few things, trust the process. Super confident going into next week.
Is there a bit of a frustration that your attack hasn't quite got out of first gear at times during this tournament?
Yeah, I think it's just ball retention. As long as we keep the ball, we're so good without it as well. I think we trust that as well. So yeah, we're not worried about it. You can build pressure by building phases as well. So yeah, that's something I'm sure we'll keep brushing up on. But yeah, super proud of defensive efforts and what we showed today.
What do you put down to that first half being less than perfect from England?
Both teams are trying to get the ball and score, so everyone's trying to put pressure on each other, and you want to get a feel of it as well, so how much pressure they're putting on, and you always come out all guns blazing to begin with, and then you tend to ease off, people lose a bit of steam, and then you start getting holes and gaps. Ellie Kildunn fires them super well, so I don't know how she does it, but our forwards were relentless in the middle, and yeah, we just kept going. So I think it's just a process of 80 minutes, and it's never just going to be one half wins the game.
England against Canada in the final then next Saturday. It's not been a great atmosphere at Ibrox during this League Cup quarter-final. Plenty of protests against Russell Martin. And now, ironies of ironies, if this goal scorer helps keep him in his job, Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, the noises at Ibrox are good ones now for the home fans. It's Rangers 1, Hibernian 0, 43 minutes on the clock. Back in the starting lineup, back on the score sheet. Belgian international midfielder Nico Raskin has had his disagreements with Russell Martin over the last few weeks, but he's headed in a brilliant goal there. James Tavernier's corner kick, and he glanced it in at the near post, and it went over to into the back post and in at the back corner. It's Rangers 1, Hibernian 0.
The One Day Cup final is still going on. Plenty of weather interruptions, so the DLS method is in play. Nikesh Ragani.
And the target for Worcestershire for victory is 188 to win from 27 overs. They've had 18 of those overs bowled so far in their innings. They need a further 87 runs to win. They're 101 for 3. We're just into the 19th over of the innings. Worcestershire removing Kashif Ali a few moments ago for 25. Jake Libby is still there on 36. He holds the key for Worcestershire, who need 87 to win from 53 balls.
Katarina Johnson-Thompson has shared the bronze medal with the American Talia Brooks after they finished on exactly the same number of points in the heptathlon at the World Athletics. Here she is.
I actually don't have any words at the minute. I'm still just in a bit of disbelief because the season's been so difficult, and I'm I've done this so many times and it doesn't get any easier. And if anything, I had the least confidence coming into this. I don't even think this is the hardest fought medal I've got, but it really does mean the world to me. The minute I stepped into the stadium, I just started sobbing, and I think you guys picked me up in the crowds just supporting, and my mum texted me the picture of me in the stadium, and I was just after I've been in the toilets crying my eyes out, remembering all the memories from this place. So to finish here and actually leave with a medal this time around, I can't put into words the full circle moments I've just been through.
Run Boy Run was the 12-1 shot that won the Air Gold Cup, and Max Verstappen will be on pole for tomorrow's Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Lando Norris back in 7th, the championship leader in 9th. Sports Extra to listen to that from noon tomorrow. Graham Potter and Oliver Glasner on the way after Dan Maudsley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. There have been major delays and cancellations at several of Europe's airports, including Heathrow, after technical problems brought down some automatic check-in systems. The company which runs the system has described it as a cyber-related incident. Some of America's biggest companies have warned skilled foreign staff not to leave the country after the Trump administration suddenly raised the cost of some work visas to $100,000 a year. Reports say firms including Microsoft and Amazon have warned staff that if they are abroad when the new rules start tonight, they might not be allowed back into the US. Virgin has confirmed it was the operator of a hot air balloon from which a man fell and died in West Sussex yesterday. The 33-year-old man was with a group of 16 people and a pilot. Virgin Balloon Flights said it was fully supporting the authorities with their investigation. The death is not being treated as suspicious. And the US entrant, who had been due to appear in Moscow tonight at Russia's answer to Eurovision, the Intervision Song Contest, has withdrawn from the competition. The Australian-born artist Vassi told the BBC it was due to an unforeseen emergency. Earlier this week, America's original entrant, Brandon Howard, withdrew due to family circumstances.
The stories we tell.
About the people we know.
And the places we love.
Are not just made here.
They're stories made of here.
The British Isles are globally important for nature.
Yeah, we might find that kid who's got the raw talent, who's in a back street in Preston somewhere. That'd be amazing.
The thing is...
We're moving back to Barry.
What?
Made of Belfast.
Liverpool, Cornwall, Glasgow,
Newcastle,
Cardiff.
Made of here.
Because this is our BBC.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
What a difference 10 minutes makes at Ibrox, Kenny.
Yeah, will this be a key game for Russell Martin in the grand scheme of things? It's Rangers 2, Hibernian 0, and it's a first Rangers goal for Bojan Majowski, the former Aberdeen and Girona striker, North Macedonia international. It was Mikey Moore's shot on loan from Spurs, but he diverted it into the net from 6 yards. Rangers 2, Hibernian 0.
To the Premier League then, West Ham beaten 2-1 at home by Crystal Palace this afternoon. Here's Graham Potter.
I can't criticise the players from an effort perspective, and they gave everything. But at the moment we're coming up short, and we have to stick together, we have to work, and we have to find a solution.
There were protests before the game against the board. I thought the stadium was quite quiet at times. Does that affect the players?
Well, no, I think The supporters were great with us. They were great with us when we came into the stadium. They were great with us certainly in the second half. At the start of the first half, when we were playing well, I thought they were with us. And then at the start of the second half, they were there. You know, it was a good atmosphere in the stadium. Everybody pushing, the team was pushing, the supporters were pushing. So I have no complaints.
You've heard boos here obviously before, but there were boos when you made a substitution. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I think they're entitled to that. You know, it's disappointing. I'm sort of learning Mateus and thought he was getting a little bit tired, and just thinking about that. But you know, as a coach, you get them right and you get them wrong, and that's the nature of the beast.
Have you spoken to the board at all about you know how the game works, about your position here?
No, I don't think there's any need to do that. I understand my responsibility, and at the moment the results aren't what we want. So there's always speculation, but I can't control that.
Are you concerned at all about your position and whether what's going to happen maybe over the next few days?
No, I'm concerned for the team. To be honest, that's where my focus should be. Concerned for the team, concerned to try and help them and to get us out of the situation that we're in now.
That was Graham Potter. BBC Sports' Sammy Mockbell joins us quickly because the understanding this evening is that his position is now under serious threat, is it?
That's right, chappers. Yeah, Graham Potter's position at West Ham is under major scrutiny now, with the club understood to be considering managerial alternatives following that really poor start to the season. So multiple sources have told us that the process of identifying replacements is underway following that sort of worrying run of 5 losses in 6 matches. Among the early names in the frame are Nuno Espirito Santo, recently sacked by Nottingham Forest, and former player and manager Slavan Bilic. Importantly, their chappers both are out of work, so West Ham wouldn't be required to pay out any extra compensation to a point either.
BBC Sports' Sammy Mockbell there. Half-time at Ibrox. Rangers lead their League Cup quarter-final against Hibs by 2-0. The other side of the story from the London Stadium is that Crystal Palace are now 4th as it stands. Here's Oliver Glasner.
A small criticism is that we didn't kill the game when we could kill it. First half, we had so many good situations. We controlled the game. We didn't give them anything. Just the first corner. Take the lead. We have hitting the crossbar straight after the beginning of second half, and all of a sudden it's 1-1 and the momentum changed. For 15 minutes West Ham was the better side. They got confidence, they played forward, they created 1-2 chances. We defended well, we had Dean, and really credit to the players that we could change the momentum again, and the longer the game lasted, I think the more threatening we were again, and then we scored the goal, and we had enough situations where we could kill the game. We didn't take them, so this is what we can improve and what we will try to do in the next couple of weeks.
Wolves remain bottom. They've lost 5 out of 5, beaten 3-1 at home this afternoon by Leeds. Here's Vitor Pereira.
The first half we are not aggressive on the pressure, and mistakes, but we are trying to correct, but happens again. Second half was different, more aggressive, more in the game, more simple game, and we create a chance to score, and we didn't concede nothing to them.
You've worked long enough in football to know that irrespective of contracts and commitments, that results dictate your future. Are you?
Well, I'm not worried about my future. I don't need to answer because I'm not worried about my future. I'm worried about the results.
But you are confident that you can turn results around?
Of course.
Tom Gale with the questions. Ange Postecoglou still waiting for a first win in charge of Nottingham Forest. They drew 1-1 at Burnley. Here he is.
Yeah, it's not easy. Burnley, particularly here at home, are going to be tough for every opponent. But I was really happy with the way we controlled certain parts of the game. I thought we stayed calm in possession, created plenty of chances there. The keeper pulled off some outstanding saves. And defensively, we for the most part, worked really well. There was just a couple of sloppy moments which, kind of gives them a little bit of traction in the game. They're always going to be dangerous in transition because they've got some quick guys up front. Overall, hugely pleased with the players' endeavour and seeing much more of the way we want to play. Obviously disappointed we couldn't get the 3 points. Even in the last 7 days, I know sort of Arsenal away is a different proposition, but the team is now beginning to sort of play the way I want, and that's great for me because it means the players are responding and sort of understanding the messages, and I thought there was a real good sort of spirit within the group as well. The guys coming on had an impact as well. So I think from that point of view, the progress we've made, if we continue like that, then the results will come.
Plenty to talk about with Roman Kemp and Chris Sutton. 6:06 on the way after the second half from Old Trafford. 08085 909 693. Blackburn's championship game, as I was saying, was abandoned against Ipswich 11 minutes from time because of a waterlogged pitch. Blackburn were a goal up at the time, and also Ipswich were down to 10 men. Blackburn have just released a statement saying a decision on whether the match will need to be replayed in full will be made by the EFL in due course. I was just watching some of the substitutes warm up at Old Trafford on that pitch at half-time. Conor McNamara and Pat Nevin. There is a lot of water splashing up at Old Trafford, isn't there?
Yeah, even by Manchester standards, it is teeming down. As you know, sort of around the edge of the pitch, they kind of have an AstroTurf layer, sort of, where the subs would warm up on that, and very visibly standing water there. Now, a lot of water has come down to the pitch. I wouldn't say there's any visible sort of puddles or standing, but when a ball bounces, you see a huge splash every time, Pat Nevin. I think we'll be okay, though. What do you think?
I suspect we will be okay. There was nobody out with forks. Do they do that anymore? They used to do that quite a bit when they're worried about the pitch.
Skewer the pitch, yeah.
Certainly, at the moment, there's no obvious suggestion of that just now. And the way that they're passing the ball about, the substitutes there, it looks absolutely fine. So change at half-time, and
it's story of the game, Pat. We ended the first half, Chelsea goalkeeper sent off, so they had to take off an outfield player to replace him. Casemiro sent off just before half-time, and now Ruben Amorim takes off his striker, takes off Benjamin Šeško so he can bring on a midfielder. And it is Manuel Ugarte who slots into that role where Casemiro was sitting. So with a 2-goal advantage, Amorim doesn't want any sort of change in the narrative here, and rather than try and get his third and leave on Šeško, he is going to insulate his midfield.
Yeah, that'll definitely be part of it. I mean, he wasn't terrible or anything, Šeško. He wasn't having a great effect in the game, other than a little flick on. Feet weren't quite quick enough when he had a little bit of half a chance to turn. But you're right. 2 goals up, the game should be gone. The game should be absolutely dead by now. It isn't, because that last little lift that Chelsea got when Man United went down to 10 men, and suddenly they were passing the ball and looking very comfortable in midfield. I know why Amorim's made that change.
Yeah, it's the first time in 11 years that a Premier League game has had both teams receive a red card in the first half. We're about to get underway for the start of the second period. Manchester United 2, Chelsea 0. Manchester United scoring their 2 goals while they had the numerical advantage, but Casemiro's second yellow card, rash tackle, no need for it, seeing him dismissed, has changed the complex of the game. And if Chelsea were to get one back, Pat, this could be a very interesting second half.
This first 5 or 10 minutes of this second half are going to be really, really interesting, because Chelsea are going to go for it. They are going to try and play as high a tempo as they possibly can. You have to anyway, because of that rain out there. If you stand still for a minute at a time, it'll feel horrible. But I think they're going to have a real go just now. Maybe slightly surprised that Chelsea didn't make a substitution at half-time there, but they're running out of substitution, and anything could happen at the start of this second half. Now, I'm looking at the referee. Is there a reason why this second half hasn't started?
Well, the television cameras are focusing on a ball boy was put. The way they've got those little bollards that the ball sits on now, the multi-ball system. And maybe does there have to be a ball on all of those bollards before? I mean, that's a total game's gone if that's a rule, that you can't kick off if you don't have a ball on every bollard.
I've got a horrible feeling you are right. And we've held up everything for that. Players freezing, fans waiting.
That is shooting right to the top of the charts of my game is gone.
I think the Commentators podcast got one to talk about.
Yes, we will discuss that in the week, absolutely. Much to discuss for this game, I have to say. This has not been a usual game. There's been quite the number of anomalies, and who knows which twists and turns are going to come our way between now and the end of events. We're just underway for the second half. Visible splashes everywhere when the ball bounces, when the players sprint along the surface, and the rain continues to teem down here at Old Trafford. And Jorgensen, who was introduced as the substitute earlier on today when Robert Sanchez was dismissed, clears the ball upfield. João Pedro in a tangle with Harry Maguire, and João Pedro wins that tangle, and Maguire's got to be careful that Manchester United don't want any more yellow cards, as he complained to the referee about that.
Why do it? Why make that argument? Because there is a possibility some referees will turn and book you for that, because you went right into his face and you're shouting and bawling at him. Honestly, and the referees turned right at Harry Maguire and said, once more. Just once more, mate.
Right, Pat, help me out with the formations here. So Manchester United, Bayern Deer in goal. They still have 3 central defenders, yes?
Obviously, the Pope
Maguire,
can't change
Delict,
that.
Shaw. The wing-backs are Mazraoui and Dorgu. In midfield, it's Ugarte alongside Bruno Fernandes, and then it's Ahmad sort of behind him, Mbeumo. He's going to be the central striker.
Yeah, and you think Bruno try and get up there as much as he possibly can, and Ahmad as well. But Mbeumo's up there on his own. He's saying to the rest of his team, get up behind me, come on, give me a little bit of help there. And the rest of them are saying, we're 2-0 up. We're not going to leave any gaps at the back.
The Chelsea team, Jorgensen in goal, back forward James, Fofana, Chalobah, Cucurella. Then, Tosun, who's in as the third central defender. He came on as a sub in the first half. Then it's Enzo Fernandez, Moise Caicedo, Andre Santos in midfield, and João Pedro ploughing on his own up front. Throw in for Chelsea, who want a strong start to this second period. 2-0 they trail. Chelsea playing from left to right as we look down, all in blue. Manchester United in their red shirts, white shorts, black socks. Visible puddles of rain around the feet of Ruben Amorim, that well-trodden turf in the dugout there. It's got a lot of standing water in it. Chelsea looking to play out for the back, and the waterlogged pitch, it is affecting how the ball rolls. It's not stopping the ball rolling, but it's affecting how the ball rolls.
You're right, players are not wanting to play it along the ground and zip it along the ground. They're wanting to dink it so it skids. So that tells you it's having an effect when the referee's gone to his pocket again.
Followed Ugarte and a yellow card for Enzo. So Enzo Fernandez, the latest player to be booked in the game.
You know you're talking about that, and I know why you said that about the passing, because you're thinking how dangerous it is to play out from the back to the goalkeeper into his midfielders anyway. You go and stick on a pitch like that on top of it, but they're still trying to do it. And by the way, just having a look at that again, Enzo's complaining. He has no right to complain there. Very, very late, pretty high, catches the player. Another yellow card correctly given. Followed
Ugarte, Argentina against Uruguay there. And a yellow card showed to the World Cup winner Enzo Fernandez. So free kick to Manchester United, left-hand side, 15 or so yards outside the penalty area. Bryan Mbeumo is standing over it. Chelsea players are holding a line on the edge of the penalty area. So there's a decent corridor of uncertainty here for Mbeumo to try and whip it into. Here he comes, short run up, left-footed delivery. Reece James makes the interception. It bounced sort of off his knee onto his body, which had Manchester United fans screaming for a penalty, but I don't think it came off his arm anyway. It was more of his stomach, but even if it had done, that wouldn't have been given as a spot kick. And Mbeumo's made a great dribble here into the penalty area, but Dorgu got in his way a little bit, and a line of Chelsea defenders, and that particular attack breaks down. Fofana, the latest to go down, and a free kick, and it's been quite a stop-start beginning to this second half here with free kicks being awarded at a flurry. 49th minute of the game, Manchester United still leading Chelsea 2-0 on this important day for Ruben Amorim. And you know, regardless of the circumstances of it, and we've been sort of reminding you of the detail of what's happened here so regularly, Ruben Amorim won't care about any of that. Get the win is all the real important thing here today.
In normal times, you're talking about a team at home, 2-0 up, okay, it's gone down to 10 against 10, you'll be fine. But the difficulties that Manchester United have had, another bad
late challenge on Ahmad, he stays down, and the referee reaches for the notebook again, and it's Chalobah, I believe, Trevor Chalobah, who lunged in and caught Ahmad, and that is another yellow card. And increasingly it feels we might do well to finish this game with 20 players on the pitch as we currently are.
I was thinking that, and 70,000 people are thinking exactly the same thing there. And part of it might be the conditions, but if you're going to go and dive into these ones and leave your foot in there, you're taking a chance. I feel sorry for Chalobah there to some degree. That's a real attempt at the ball, and he's just seconds out or milliseconds out, and in these conditions that can happen. But the referee's right, he's not made many mistakes, the referee, for all the fact that we've had yellow cards and sending offs, etc, not complaining about it.
Free kick to Manchester United is midway into Chelsea territory. 2-0 to United on 5 Live at BBC Sounds. Chalobah wins the header inside the box, sends it back away. This is Andre Santos, needs to pick a good pass here. He finds João Pedro coming over the halfway line with good pace, but the pass then is behind Reece James. Mazraoui is tough. And he's skillful too. Look at him go. Mazraoui flicked it over a defender and ran after it. He's got Ahmad to his left-hand side. Mazraoui to Ahmad into the Chelsea penalty area. Andre Santos is back to help out the defence. This is Dorgu, and he's challenged, and Caicedo battles on, and the ball eventually goes out of play for a throw-in to Chelsea.
I have to say, I thought that looked like a yellow card. to me, actually, Casado's just wiped him out there, but they've carried on. And well done, Dorgu.
Yeah.
Just gets on with it, but that was a pretty vicious tackle. I didn't think he got the ball either, and the referee allowed it to go on. I think the referee's beginning to think that himself now. If I keep on going in my pocket, those yellows are going to turn a very, very different shade.
There's a bit of a retro feel to this. I mean, it almost feels like no matter what stadium you go in the Premier League, the pitches are all such good standard that it's never a factor. And yet this pitch is now playing extremely slowly, and you've got both teams playing with 10 men, so there's a little bit more space down there. Feels like a bit of a throwback. This actually.
There is something that's got to do with that, and I mean, the referee has to manage games as well. And a foul's a foul, yes, but you have to understand the difficulties that players have got sometimes, that they're having to change the way they play and the way the ball's rolling, etc.
Bayindir came sprinting way out of his penalty area there, and Harry Maguire, that there was some little communication issue there, because Maguire threw him daggers, but Bayindir did clear the ball away. But just shades of Sanchez storming out of his box in the first half and picking up that red card. Bayindir, who hasn't had a shot to save in this game today.
So get ready for the boos quite soon. I think German Garnacho,
Alejandro about to come on.
I think he'll be. But just looking at Chelsea at the start of the second half, they thought it would start at a real gallop. 10 against 10. Uncertainty, nothing to lose. You're 2-0 down. Create a few chances. Hasn't happened. It really hasn't happened. They've not got a foothold in the final third in any way whatsoever. So it would absolutely shock me if Enzo Fernandez, Maresca didn't make a change quite soon.
Detailed instructions from Enzo Maresca for Alejandro Garnacho. The boos have started already because he's just left the dugout area. But this could be poised nicely for him. A little bit of extra space for both players playing with 10. Can Garnacho make an impact against his old team?
You're right about that, Conor. Because see, if you're a creative player who wants to go on the ball, you love space. You love a little bit more chance and ability to get individuals.
Harry Maguire has just committed a foul inside the centre circle. I wonder, did his arm brush up into the face of Andre Santos? So that looked like an elbow to me. Now, I'm not saying a violent elbow, but there's no doubt that the elbow connects with the face of the opponent. VAR will look at the background. Andre Santos is still down, and as you can imagine, the Chelsea players are swarming around the referee. This is something they're very specifically not to do under the new interpretation of the rules, but we're going to get to see a decent replay of this. So the right arm, no, it's more brushing him away than an elbow, isn't it?
You know what? The referee is in an absolutely brilliant position. He's right beside it. You can see it. It's just a height thing. I mean, Harry's a big player. He's a tall player. You use your arms as you move away. Yeah, he's been hit in the face. I suspect he will recover.
It's flicked by the fingertips rather than the pointy elbow.
It's not a horrible, vicious elbow, no.
So Harry Maguire just comes across. Bruno Fernandes involved in the conversation as well. And everyone is hot-tempered on a wet day at Old Trafford. Manchester United still leading 2-0. Both teams down to 10 men. 6:06 coming up with Ronan Kemp and Chris Sutton once the live football ends here. Match of the day with Kelly Cates tonight at 10:30. Much to peruse up and down the Premier League. Liverpool winning the Merseyside derby. West Ham losing again. That pressure on Graham Potter. There's no let-up for him. Big win for Leeds away at Wolves. Fulham will play Brentford later on. You'll see the goals of that on Match of the Day. 10:30 tonight on BBC One. Caicedo here on the halfway line for Chelsea. Chelsea, who conceded both goals when they were down to 10, hoping that the playing field has levelled up a bit now since Casemiro's dismissal. Fofana to the near touchline to Reece James. Inside the Chelsea half, rolls it back to Fofana. Bruno Fernandes goes up to join Mbeumo in a press, and then the ball is given away. Good pressure from Mbeumo. Has it in front of Tosun. Good work from Caicedo to win it back for Chelsea. He's so good at that, Moise Caicedo. Winning possession. Mind you, he doesn't hold on to it this time. Mazraoui gets it back for Manchester United, who have possession midway inside the Chelsea half.
Chelsea have got to do something just now. Look, you've been playing 3 at the back and 5 at the back. You're 2-0 down. It's 10 against 10. You've got to go for it. There's no point in leaving it any longer. And if you're Enzo Maresca, you've tried the second half. It's actually too long now. You've let it go too long now. Adapt it, change it. One of the centre backs has got to come off, and you've got to really try and push it to get something out of this game.
Since the Casemiro dismissal, Ahmad has gone out to his favourite position on the right-hand side. And Manchester United win a throw in there almost level with the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Ahmad takes it back to De Ligt on the halfway line. 10 minutes played already in the second half at Old Trafford. Rain still coming down hard. Luke Shaw, deepest lying outfield player for Manchester United, rolls it up to Patrick Dorgu in the orange boots. Infield to Bruno Fernandes, who returns it to Dorgu. That's really good. Now, can he get into the box? Maguire seemed to run in front of James there and blocked his run. Play on for the moment. Manchester United have it. Dorgu tried to cross, but Chelsea got it away out of the box. Bruno Fernandes back in, looking for Mbeumo, but it bends and swirls away from him and harmlessly goes out for a goal kick to Chelsea. I just thought when Dorgu came forward there that Harry Maguire, almost NFL style, used his body to block the attempts of the defender to come across, but anyway, nothing happened at the end of it, so it doesn't really matter.
May I say, Connor, you are spot on. You're exactly right. That's precisely what happened, and Harry Maguire knew exactly what he was doing there. But he made it look as if, no, I've got right away, I've run in front. It's killed James's chance of getting back in there. And Harry Maguire knows he's not going to go and get the ball, so very, very clever play by Harry Maguire. It's not a foul. And annoyingly good commentary from you.
Thank you, you're too kind. This is Cucurella on the far side, who's giving it away to Ahmad. Chelsea have got to be more careful in possession. They've given it away a lot today. Ahmad on the edge of the penalty area, twirling around, trying to find a bit of space, gives it back to Harry Maguire, who's lost it out. Now João Pedro, could be 2-2 if he's quick enough. Mazraoui's trying to get back. João Pedro really fast though, gets to the edge of the penalty area. Wonderful trick to come infield, but Mazraoui stuck to his guns there and made a very important challenge on João Pedro. Chelsea's most dangerous attack in some time. Caicedo tries to thread it into the box again, but Luke Shaw makes the interception and Mazraoui plays it away off Andre Santos and out for a throw-in. That was an exciting passage of play.
Yeah, brilliant. João Pedro's been pretty special today. I mean, right from the start, he's had to work twice as hard as he would be expected to work, but he's loving it. He's going for it, and he's doing it. Do you know what he needs though? Somebody up beside him. Yeah. He'll help him. He'll take a little bit of the load off. Who'll run the ball for him as well now and again. And it's getting towards the hour mark now, and it's still 2-0 down. And Chelsea fans will be thinking, he may as well have a goal. Yeah. And I mean, Garnacho at the moment, basically he's been read War and Peace there. he's done about 47 things to learn before he comes on.
And then you must do this, and then on page 34 you must do that when you come on. I mean, I know we've mentioned it a few times, but listeners joining us all the time. Chelsea, who started with a really attacking team, Pedro Neto, Estevao, Cole Palmer, they were all taken off within 20 minutes of the start to the game, because an early red card for Robert Sanchez and an injury to Cole Palmer forced a big rejig for Chelsea. Now that both teams are playing with 10, this is where Chelsea could do with a bit more creativity in the attacking areas as João Pedro swings a crossfield ball right onto the instep of Reece James. He takes on Dorgu. Really good from James. It's hanging in there. Andre Santos wins the header down, but Ahmad, well positioned, is able to hook it away. Chelsea hold on to the ball and they are on the attack. Back out to James on the right hand side. Chelsea attacking the end where their fans are housed away to our right. The rain teeming down at Old Trafford. Entertaining, incident filled game. Manchester United leading it 2-0 of course. This is Caicedo, back to Tosin inside the centre circle again, and now to the near side and to Fofana. And Chelsea holding onto the ball, and they haven't had many of these today. Long periods of possession. Manchester United, who haven't had a shot since the 36th minute. We've now reached the hour mark. Andre Santos, United, remember, who've taken off Šeško to bring on an extra midfielder in Ugarte. Santos into Enzo Fernandez, and the rain continues to hammer down. Pat Nevin.
Chelsea have nowhere to go. They've still got 5 defenders on there, and the only thing that looks sort of dangerous is the odd break with João Pedro, who's looked very, very special. And now and again, if the wing-backs get the ball, but they've not been able to get them on the ball, and it's... I think a lot of Chelsea fans will be quite frustrated by this. You know, this is not taking enough risks in a situation where, yeah, there's a possibility of a risk worth taking at the moment.
Down goes Caicedo, fouled by Ugarte, and that is a free kick to Chelsea midway inside their own half, and they're keen to get on with it. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And this is the Teton kickoff in the Premier League. Steve Crossman on at the earlier time of 11:30 tomorrow for 5 Live Sport. There are the Athletics World Championships from Tokyo, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and we've got 2 more Premier League games for you tomorrow. Sunderland against Arsenal at 2. Sorry, I've got that wrong, because Arsenal cannot play in 2 games. Who are Sunderland playing tomorrow? Villa. So Sunderland against Villa tomorrow. I'd written down Sunderland against Arsenal and Arsenal Manchester City, which is clearly nonsense. Arsenal do play Man City at 4:30. Both games available to listen to on 5 Live.
I don't think Garnacho's coming on. After all that, running up and down, getting a load of chat from the manager, and I think he's going to bring Tyree George on. And a possibility of Malo Gusto too. Somebody must be out there saying they're injured.
Is it possible, Pat, that Chelsea have more players than they actually need? Gittins on the bench too. George. They're going to bring on Malo Gusto and George, it would seem. Not Garnacho, not yet. Here is Reece James, in around the back of the defenders, sends it in towards the edge of the goal area. And then De Ligt, he ends up inside the back of the net as he boots the ball into the crowd. Corner to Chelsea on the right-hand side.
Just for a moment there, the best player for the last wee while for Chelsea has actually been flying forward, Reece James. I wonder if they're just about to take him off. And he's looked really, really good the last little while. But Cunha coming on, he'll love this.
Yeah,
again.
Manchester United fans will be pleased to see this. This feels ahead of schedule for the Brazilian. Matheus Cunha's been out with that thigh injury. They reckoned he would be back end of September. Here he is, coming back into the thick of the action, and he will replace Bryan Mbeumo. So Matheus Cunha, the summer signing from Wolves, still waiting for his first goal for Manchester United. But in his career, Matheus Cunha's got more goals against Chelsea than any other opponent.
He's sending him back on again.
So Mbeumo's number was held up on the board. He came across, and now Ruben Amorim says, no. It's all a misunderstanding. Bryan Mbeumo, you stay. Maybe because it's a corner, he doesn't want to make the change while defending a corner.
And Chelsea, they've got their two players waiting to go in, and they don't want to make a change because they've got a corner.
Reece James is going to take it 2-0 to Manchester United. 62 minutes on the clock. Rain still coming down. Right-footed delivery. Headed by Tosin, it's into the net. And Fofana, but the flag is raised. So as it's flicked on by Tosin, was Fofana in an offside position? I think he was. Yeah, he's offside.
He looked well off. It didn't even look close, to be honest with you. One of those ones where you don't get that much space right there to nod the ball in with nobody near you. So we'll see it again, and they'll check it again. You just never quite know. But number one, he's fouled the goalkeeper, and then he was offside by about 2.5 yards.
Yeah, that's not going to stand. Right, it remains Manchester United 2, Chelsea 0. Wesley Fofana, one Premier League goal ever in his career. And the double change for Chelsea sees Tyree George and Malo Gusto come on. Fofana is one of those who makes way, and so too Cucurella. We told you that there's an 8 o'clock kickoff in the Premier League. Fulham playing against Brentford. The team news is in for that. Here's James Craig. Hi, James.
Hello, good afternoon to you. Back-to-back Western London derbies for Brentford. They're yet to pick up a point away from home this season in their 2 trips out. One change for Keith Andrews. Damsgaard in for Jensen. Damsgaard was ill last weekend for that draw against Chelsea at home. Fulham are unchanged from that somewhat fortunate win over Leeds last weekend. Like you say, Connor, it kicks off at 8 o'clock.
Thanks very much, James. Right, 3 substitutions to tell you about here. Malo Gusto has come on in place of Cucurella for Chelsea. Tyreek George has come on in place of Fofana, so that's an attacking move by Enzo Maresca. And then it's an attacking move for Manchester United as well, because Mazraoui, the wing-back, has gone off to allow the introduction of Matheus Cunha.
Would you believe me if I told you Man United have gone to a back 4?
Wow.
No, that's not really.
I'm just winding you up. White smoke emanating from the Vatican. Ruben Amorim, who said even the Pope wouldn't make him change his formation and his style. Well, he's got a 2-goal lead. He's quite grateful that he has it, Ruben Amorim. Surely Manchester United can't blow it from here. Their ascendancy, their dominance when they had 11 against 10 in the 2-goal lead, watered down somewhat by the dismissal of Casemiro ahead of half-time. But Casemiro, who did score before that red card, and Bruno Fernandes with the other one. It should be enough for Manchester United, but with this team, can you really trust them to see it through? Dorgu back to Harry Maguire on the edge of his own penalty area. Tyreek George has come on with those fresh legs. He's going to run and try and just put a bit of extra urgency into the Manchester United defenders and not allow them bring it out so comfortably from the back.
Yeah, and Chelsea seem to have gone to a 4-3-2. So, that 3 centre-backs didn't need them. Didn't really actually need them for quite some time there. Worth taking a little bit of a chance. Well, finally taking a chance. It's 65 minutes. And they've now got the back four, which is they should be comfortable with. They play with it all the time. It gives you a chance to get Tyreek George on, and also gives João Pedro a little bit more space, a little bit more help.
Yeah, difficult day for Enzo Maresca. The red card to Robert Sanchez was just over 3 minutes of game time in, and any pre-existing game plan went out the window at that stage. Chelsea have tried to battle on, but the truth and the fact of the matter is, Pat, they have not created a single big chance to score in the game.
No, they haven't. And in the second half, when you thought that one was certainly will happen because they had nothing to lose, they might as well go for it. They just stayed with a back five for too long. I mean, you're 2-0 down. Don't do it. And the player that we most expected to come on, I would say Gittins and Garnacho were the two I expected to come on more than anyone else. Neither have come on the pitch.
Yeah, Fofana had the ball in the net, but that was disallowed, so that won't count as a shot on target. High time we check back into the Scottish League Cup quarter-final. Rangers against Hibs. Here's Kenny Crawford.
57 minutes gone, still Rangers 2, Hibs 0, but a couple of chances in quick succession for Rangers to make that 3. They were denied by the crossbar when JD Kazama's curling shot hit the woodwork, and then Bojan Majowski, who scored the second, had a shot cleared off the line by Grant Hanley. Rangers 2, Hibernian 0.
Thanks very much. 6:06 to come at Roland Kemp and Chris Sutton here on 5 Live as soon as the live football ends at Old Trafford. Dorgu on the left-hand side for Manchester United slams it forward straight to Chalobah. Good header to pick out Andre Santos in space, and the Brazilian comes forward and he picks up Tyreek Mitchell on the edge of the box, but Mitchell can't make it stick. Tyreek George, I should say, my apologies, I'm getting my Tyreeks mixed up. Tyreek George then frustrated commits a foul, free kick to Manchester United inside the penalty area.
You're absolutely right about Maresco. It's been a difficult afternoon for him, but from half-time it's not, I don't think it should be. I mean, it should be a time to say, right, okay, try and do something about this, adapt his team, ask some questions. Manchester United haven't looked absolutely brilliant in the second half either, have they? They're just managing it, just coping with it. Chelsea, I would say one thing though, Chelsea had a game, or a lot of those players had a game against Bayern Munich where they were run off their feet in midweek, and that might be as much of the reason as anything else. They didn't look a little bit tired and lacking in ideas, and I suppose you're also taking the best creativity out of the team.
Here comes Mateus Cunha. First time he's had a chance to come forward into the penalty area. Tried to lay it back for Bruno Fernandes. Touch off a defender though allows Chelsea the opportunity to clear away. Tyreek George, 10 yards, 15 yards outside his own penalty area. Sets off towards the left wing, pursued by Mbeumo, and then eventually a challenge and the ball goes out of play for a throw. And Manchester United are going to make a double change here. Lenny Yoro's going to come on and Mason Mount too.
Yeah, and I mean, that's good legs. I mean, Yoro's young, he'll add a little bit to him as well. I would be shocked if they went anything other than exactly what they've got just now. So Mbeumo will come off, and Mount will go in there and they'll steady it up a little bit. That's the central area. See who's Yoro's going to replace. It's Maguire, of course.
Harry Maguire making way for Lenny Yoro. Today has been Harry Maguire's first Premier League start of the new season. Mbeumo, who had one shot away off target in the first half, but hasn't had too many opportunities in what's been a strange game in the driving rain here. Mason Mount, of course, former Chelsea player, comes on against his old team. It's the 4th time he's played against Chelsea in his career. Did it once with Derby, twice at Manchester United before today. He's lost 3 out of 3. Surely, with 20 minutes to go and a 2-goal lead, Manchester United are going to see this through here.
It is an incredible incident, a number of incidents, and madness of the first half. It's been relatively dull in the second half. Expected more fireworks, expected teams to really, really go for it. But no, Man United they've managed it fairly well for the most part.
Yes, coming in to this game today, 1 win for their opening 4 Premier League games. Manchester United's worst start to a Premier League season since 1992. Ruben Amorim needs the 3 points today, and a lot has gone his way today in this strange match. Much of the big stuff has gone against Chelsea, albeit Casemiro being dismissed too for Manchester United, but by that stage they had the 2-goal lead. Here's Dorgu, back to Luke Shaw, left-footed clearance, looking for Bruno Fernandes, who's in around the back of Tosin. Clever header for Bruno Fernandes. Chalobah's going to have to stretch. He's on a yellow card, Chalobah, but he does well. Gets there ahead of Mason Mount. And now Malo Gusto with fresh legs will bring it up over the halfway line here. Applause for Brian Mbeumo, who it felt like he went off ages ago, but he's had to walk the whole way around the pitch to make it back to the dugout, and he and Harry Maguire are getting warm applause from the Manchester United fans close to the touchline down there. This is Moise Caicedo inside the centre circle for Chelsea. Chelsea have still not had a shot on target in the game.
They haven't, and you're looking at a midfielder. I felt beforehand, when everything was equal right at the start of the game, there'd been an incredible battle between Caicedo and the midfield there, along with Enzo, against what was a natural middle two that Manchester United had, but we never had time to see it. That battle never really happened. It's been so strange. But I would say even so, I expected a wee bit more from Enzo and from Caicedo. Not created much at all today.
Tariq George into João Pedro, who tried to do a trick, but Bruno Fernandes had anticipated it, and it was candy off a baby as Manchester United regained possession. Luke Shaw under pressure from Enzo Fernandez, and he tries to take him on. Little cut back at himself, Luke Shaw, and he rolls it to the feet of Manuel Ugarte. And the clock ticks on, and we're into the 72nd minute now. And Bayern Deer is caught late by Tariq George, who has slid in on the goalkeeper, and with the ball cleanly having left the boot of Bayern Deer, Tariq George snaps through him, and he gets a, no complaints, yellow card for that.
Yeah, not at all. Obviously he's dived in there and he slid along the ground. Does he kick the keeper? Does the keeper's follow through kick him? And it's one of those ones where I immediately thought, he's not arguing, so it's George's. I don't think he can argue. It's a yellow card. It's just the way it is. If you're reckless, it doesn't matter what happens. But it doesn't seem that vicious to me. We'll see if I'm going to see a shot. Yeah, he's just put his body in the keeper's followed through, hasn't he?
He slides through, and if you can imagine the follow through the keeper, having kicked the ball, the keeper's leg is dangling high in the air, and Michelin slides across and connects with that.
So what you're telling us is Tariq George has elbowed him in the foot and got booked for it, because that's where the contact was. Yeah. So this what did everyone, and I think the referee saw that. And I don't think he really wanted to give a yellow card for it. He just thought, it's a coming together. He's slid in there. He's tried to block it. Sometimes when they do that,
he's late, isn't he? That's it. He's sliding in late, and he does make a connection. I know what you mean. It's not a grievous bodily harm connection, but he slides in late, makes the connection.
Yeah, he's elbowed him in the bottom of the boot. Yeah, it's a connection, but it's not a connection you deliberately do.
Pat, you think this is still a contact sport, don't you? That's the mistake you're making there. Yeah. This is Bayern Deer's clearance, right-footed, out of the penalty area. There was an incident early in the Manchester derby last week where he miscontrolled and Haaland nearly closed him down. And Bayern Deer has been a very peripheral figure today, but didn't exactly get it away quickly, inviting Tariq George to go in and lunge at him there. But anyway, Manchester United come and attack down the other end. They still lead by 2 goals to 0. Caicedo fouls Bruno Fernandes outside the box. Free kick to Manchester United on the corner angle of the penalty area.
It's it's been bubbling away, isn't it? A rumbling volcano of a game. Looks as if the referee's just about. Actually, the referee's just let him go on with it. 5 or 6 players all pushing and shoving each other. Complete handbags, of course. The referee's just standing back and saying, "I'll deal with this when you all calm down."
Yeah, it's pushing, but onto a chest, that sort of nature. No one's striking anyone in the face, anything like that. They'll all just simmer down and make their way into the penalty area. It's been a busy old afternoon for Peter Banks. He'll sleep well tonight.
Well done, referee.
Yeah.
He just let it calm down, and it's not that nasty a tackle. Fernandes is not injured. He's absolutely fine, but it is a foul.
Mason Mount and Caicedo with the start to that. Yoro pushed Andre Santos. That was probably the biggest shove, and then that caused all the others to come rushing in. But anyway, it's a free kick to Manchester United. It is a crossing position on the right-hand side. Manchester United, who haven't had a shot in quite a long time here, and it's been well over half an hour, 35 minutes since Manchester United have had a proper shot. Let's see what they can do here. Bruno Fernandes sends in the free kick, looking for Mateus Cunha. It comes down to Dorgu. He touches it out to De Ligt. Decent cross back in from there. Acrobatic effort from Ahmad, but he didn't catch it cleanly off the outside of the shin pad, and that goes across the face of goal, and it goes wide. Let's get a result from Nikesh Regali. Nikesh.
Well, Worcestershire have won the one-day cup. They've defeated Hampshire here by 3 wickets in the end. They were set a revised target of 188 to win from 27 overs. They needed 13 off the final over, and they've got there with a couple of balls to spare. Ethan Brooks, the star, with 57 from 34 balls. It's Worcestershire's first List A trophy since 1994. Plenty of fans in here going wild. A brilliant result for them. Worcestershire winning the one-day cup here, beating Hampshire by 3 wickets.
Thanks very much, Nikesh. Here at Old Trafford, we've reached the final quarter hour of normal time now. 2-0 to Manchester United. Dorgu said it just about is enough in it to get back to Bayern Dia there. For a moment, Reece James thought he might have been able to nip in. Manchester United, with both teams playing with 10 here, Pat Nevin alongside me, Manchester United just need cool heads now. Just see this through.
They've generally managed it. And there was a moment ago there, Bruno Fernandes got a foul, stayed down, but it was what he'd done just before it. Instead of passing the ball quickly, he ran it towards the corner. He slowed it down a little bit. He helped manage the pace of the game down a little bit. And that is exactly what needs to be done just now if you're Manchester United. They've done it quite well in this second half. And Fernandes, without being brilliant, he's actually done that as well as anyone else.
Careless pass by Mason Mount gives away possession. If Manchester United do hold on for the 2-0 lead here, will this be heralded as a great success for Ruben Amorim's system?
Any points at all a success for Ruben Amorim. But the fact that they didn't blow it, I mean, when they went down to 10 against 10, went back to 10 against 10, had they lost something, or if they do lose something, then it would be seen as naive, disastrous, pathetic schoolboy. But if you manage it out 2-0, not that exciting, that's actually okay. That's grown-up, mature stuff.
Yeah, no, Manchester United have done well in the circumstances. Chelsea will feel it's all been very unfortunate for them, particularly having to hook all the creative players early. As Bruno Fernandes looks for Mateus Cunha here, tries to get into the penalty area. Chalobah stretches, had to be careful in the box, does well, and Malo Gusto should come away here. Mateus Cunha, who's really pent up, you can see sprinting after everything. He wants to make an impact here. Mason Mount goes sprinting in on the goalkeeper. Jorgensen clips it away onto the chest of Reece James. Bit of ball juggling. Ooh, he's got to be careful there. And he does well, and he keeps possession for his team. And then down goes Enzo Fernandez, the most gentle touch on his back from Luke Shaw, and down he goes like a sack of spuds, and the free kick is given to Chelsea, who take it quickly onto João Pedro. Comes over the halfway line. De Ligt stretches out a leg, and the free kick is given to Chelsea. There's been so many free kicks and fouls in the second half.
Well, one thing, you look at João Pedro there, I mean, from a Chelsea point of view, he's got 3 players around him. He's run and run and run. He's got a foul. He's done exactly what he's asked to do. He is, I have to say, I'm very impressed with his work rate today. It's been very special, and he's not got anything out of it. But, you know, that sort of effort, week in, week out, from every single player, you won't go far wrong.
Between scoring and assists over the first 4 weekends of the new Premier League season, no Premier League player had been involved in more goals than João Pedro. It does look to be a very good signing, as Malo Gusto tries to cross, and it's headed away by Ugarte. Chelsea at the moment just staring defeat in the face, and time is running out. 12 minutes to go. 2 goals behind. Both teams down to 10. Robert Sanchez, the goalkeeper, dismissed for Chelsea. Casemiro dismissed for Manchester United. Here's Reece James. Chance to cross on the right-hand side. He's patient. Tries to bide his moment. When he does send it in, it comes off Shaw. And that is a corner to Chelsea on the right-hand side. A goal for Chelsea, Pat, could still set up a nervy finish here.
Absolutely. I mean, mad things have been happening today. Dorgu there just didn't miss. Well, I'll fill you in a moment.
Corner's taken short. Enzo Fernandez sends it in. There's no one on the end of that. Comes back to Malo Gusto. De Ligt was the Manchester United player who headed it out, but he didn't find a teammate, and Chelsea hold on to possession in an attacking position. And this is Tyreek George to Reece James, the Chelsea captain, on the right-hand side. He's got Enzo Fernandez outside of him. Good ball into the box. Malo Gusto sliding. Comes off Luke Shaw. It's another Chelsea corner, and we're almost into the last 10 minutes now.
Yeah, much better in the last 2 or 3 minutes when Chelsea getting into positions that you expect them to do much more of in the second half. But, as you say, if they could get a goal now...
Reece James hangs in the cross. Header from Chalobah in! It's a brilliant goal! Chelsea get one back. Superb delivery from Reece James, and the leap from Chalobah. Manchester United are furious that he was given that space. Ahmad was literally hopping mad there, how someone wasn't helping him. 2-on-1 at the back post against little Ahmad, and Chalobah heads it in, and there now is the moment that Ruben Amorim was dreading, because Manchester United are going to have a sweaty finish here. Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1, 10 minutes plus the stoppages to go.
You know, so many things wrong with it. Marking absolutely awful there. That's a clean header with nobody near you. Yoro doesn't go up. Remember, Yoro's come on there. He's come on for Harry Maguire. He's among the best at marking there. So you've taken a player off. It loves doing that sort of stuff when you're 2-0 up, as if you don't need him anymore. You've lost a goal from it. On top of that, Chelsea take a short free kick, a short corner kick. Nobody goes out. I mean, really? That's page 1 of the tactics book. So all sorts of mistakes. The jitters have started.
Right, strap yourselves in. This could be fun. This could be interesting. Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1. 10 minutes to play. Manchester United, who had a 2-goal lead, playing against 10 men in the first half. Tables have turned somewhat, though. It's 10 men each now, and Chelsea have got one back.
I'm almost speechless. Man United have went and closed down high up the pitch there and left Chelsea 2-2 at the back. Why would you do that? I just don't know why you would do that at this point in time. Well, unless you just love playing wild open football. Unnecessary at this point in time.
Yes, there's a 2-goal lead that Manchester United have had today, but it has been a thin veneer of superiority, and that's been exposed a little bit now. Of course, they're still in front, but this has become a nervy finish now. Chelsea, who've had more possession in the second half.
I was going to tell you something about the defender led to that corner kick, because Dorgu tried to play offside and run James offside. There was no need to do it.
Reece James into João Pedro. Lenny Yoro's going to be careful here. João Pedro controls it well inside the penalty area. Back to Reece James, clips it. Malo Gusto's unmarked to the back post. Ahmad did really well to get back there and to clear it away, and now Mateus Cunha tries to bring it clear. Malo Gusto sprints back with him, and the ball goes out of play for a Manchester United throw on the far side.
Time and again Chelsea trying to do that back post there. Ahmad's there. He's not the tallest now. He won the header that time. Keep on putting the ball there, keep on getting somebody to trap that back post there, and Chelsea could get another chance or two.
It ain't over yet. A game which, building up to half-time, a 2-goal advantage, 11 against 10, should have been, let's just put this to bed for Ruben Amorim. It's never that easy for him, though, in his Manchester United career, is it? And today I think it's 32nd Premier League game in charge. He's only had 8 wins so far. This will be a cherished moment against one of the big clubs if United could get the win here, but it ain't over yet. Ugarte gives it away unnecessarily. You can hear the groans, almost howls of derision. But Bruno Fernandes has put pressure on Reece James, and he's been able to win it back for Manchester United on his own. Bruno Fernandes, saved by Jorgensen. Well, that was really good from the Manchester United captain. Really good. But Jorgensen makes the save.
Yeah, real on target there, and he's shown great strength because he's put a real huge amount of effort into this game, Bruno Fernandes. But he still had the power left to go and get the shot in on target. Good goalkeeping there, but Reece James caught in the ball. You cannot be caught in the ball there.
Earlier on today, Liverpool won the Merseyside derby. Brighton and Spurs drew 2-2. Burnley and Forest drew 1-1. Leeds got a win away at Wolves. West Ham lost again, 2-1 at home to Crystal Palace. Later on, Fulham against Brentford kicks off in about 40 minutes from now. And here at Old Trafford, it's on a knife edge. 2-1 to Manchester United. 7 minutes of normal time to play. Manchester United have a corner on the left-hand side, which Bruno Fernandes is preparing to take. Chelsea have had to bring everyone back into the penalty area to defend it. But it's headed up and away by Tosin. Ugarte tried to shoot. Andre Santos was able to nip in. Hang on, there could be a chance of a counter-attack here. That's a really important tackle by Luke Shaw to stop Andre Santos, because he had 3 Chelsea teammates ahead of him and there was only 2 back for Manchester United. That was a big moment in the game right there. And now Mateus Cunha takes it forward down the right-hand side. Ball into the penalty area, controlled by Bruno Fernandes. Back to Ahmad, who had to stretch. It wasn't accurate enough. Chelsea get it back, and now they'll try to storm down the other end.
Now we're seeing the type of game I expected to see from the start of the second half, but we're seeing it now. The players must be exhausted, but because they're exhausted, there is a bit of space there. There are mistakes being made all over the place. Something's going to happen now. In the last 5 minutes, we've got 5.5 minutes we've got to play, and injury time. And on top of that, something weird is going to happen.
The coaches who've been sort of conservative in terms of bringing on fresh legs very late on here. There's movement amongst the Manchester United contingent. And Ruben Amorim has just called one of the subs back. Looks like they're going to make a change. Tosun plays it down the right channel, and Joao Pedro in a race here against De Ligt. De Ligt ate up the ground to get to the ball first, but he couldn't turn. He turned like an ocean liner there, De Ligt. It was slow and it was a wide arc, and Joao Pedro was able to nip in, but he doesn't hold on to it. Dorgu, clever, plays it off Joao Pedro, and that is a throw into Manchester United. Left full back position for them. I think it's Kobbie Mainoo who Ruben Amorim is going to bring on for the late minutes here.
Well, you want somebody who's going to hold the ball a little bit. Just you want to kill the game, slow it down, get a little bit of control in the midfield, because the game being chaotic and out of control is exactly what Chelsea need just now, and that's what they've tried to develop. The player who's done it most for Chelsea by a distance is Joao Pedro. I mean, De Ligt, absolutely brilliant there. Lightning, wins the ball, thinks he's going to go away with it. Joao Pedro having none of it, chased and chased and chased and chased, got it back and almost fashioned half a chance for Chelsea. A little bit of a rest for the players here as the referee has to do a little bit of running repairs.
Yeah, Peter Banks has an issue with his communication device, so they've just swapped that over quickly. Kobbie Mainoo's going to come on in place of Bruno Fernandes, who, you know, he gets more than his fair share of criticism at times, doesn't he? But he's put heart and soul into the performance today. The red card for Casemiro has been the big blot on the copybook for Manchester United. That has made what should have been a more comfortable afternoon something more of a sweat here in the closing stages. 2-1 to Manchester United for now. Off goes Bruno Fernandes while we wait for the game to restart. Back to Rangers Hibs and Kenny Crawford.
Where there's 77 minutes gone, still Rangers 2, Hibs nil. Both sides have had chances to score in the last 5 or 10 minutes or so. Kieran Bowie for Hibs had a shot well saved by Jack Butland. And then Mikey Moore on loan from Spurs with a shot just narrowly wide from about 20-22 yards. He's now been subbed off. And Yusuf Shermiti is on for Rangers, who Rangers pays a sizable fee to Everton for, the Portuguese striker, so we'll see how he gets on. Rangers 2, Hibs nil.
Thanks, Kelly. 2-1 to Manchester United here. Still no room on the pitch for Alejandro Garnacho. You'd imagine he'd love to come on. The circumstances of his departure from Old Trafford, he'd love to show Ruben Amorim what he can do, but might well be that we don't get to see Garnacho today.
No, that's the thing that's going to happen. Not now.
Yeah, so Dorgu. Now Mateus Cunha flicks it one side of Tosun, tries to run around the other. Chalobah has got things under control. Mind you, I've lost track of how many changes they've made, Chelsea. They probably can't make any more now. As those 3 early subs that they made inside 21 minutes. The first time in Premier League history that a team had made 3 substitutions in the first 21 minutes. That has limited the options for Enzo Maresca late on in the match. At the moment he's got Tariq George leading the line, he's got Joao Pedro in the hole behind him, Malo Gusto's trying to push up on the left hand side, Reece James is trying to push up on the right side. Chelsea have got to give it everything now with 2.5 minutes of normal time remaining. Can they come from 2-0 down here to snatch a draw at Old Trafford and really crush the spirit for Ruben Amorim's team? As it is, Amorim's about to celebrate a victory, but he's not there yet. Malo Gusto closed down by Ahmad. Good work and warm applause for Ahmad for the Manchester United fans. Throw into Chelsea on the far side. Pat Nevin.
Yes, you mentioned the changes, and in the end, if Chelsea managed to get that draw just now, sneak that draw, and then well done Enzo Maresca. But if Chelsea are thinking, if you're Chelsea fan, thinking, why have we got these creative players that they're out sitting on the bench? We're 2-0 down, and it's not until the last few minutes or so Chelsea have managed to get up the line here, and it's often been Reece James who's got into a good position and get the odd cross in. But other than that, they've not created that much.
It sounds silly, but if Chelsea were to get an equaliser here, I think that would feel worse than a defeat for Manchester United, ahead of the day today. The fact that they're 2-0 up against 10 men, if they are to win this, it'll be crushing. So they're all back defending now, the Manchester United players. Chalobah plays it over to the near touchline here. Reece James controls on his instep. Dorgu coming out to put pressure on him. It's a short pass to Enzo Fernandez. Back to Reece James again. Crossing position on the right-hand side. It was James' cross from that side that set up the Chalobah goal. Here is Malo Gusto on the left-hand side for Chelsea. Good interception by De Ligt. Now Manchester United need to hold on to it. Mason Mount sends it ahead of Ahmad. Runs into the Chelsea half. He's held up by Chalobah, and it's won back by Malo Gusto, and Manchester United needed to hold on to it longer there. Poor pass from Malo Gusto. Reece James does well to hold on to possession. Chelsea on the halfway line with Moise Caicedo. We're into the final minute of the 90 now. Reece James looked like he might have been offside there as the pass was played. He controls it on his shoulder. There's no flag. Dorgu challenges him, and out it goes for a throw-in. Chelsea on the attack in the final minute of the 90.
Great to see Reece James back to something like his best, isn't it? Flying up the, almost 90 minutes now. He's been on for the whole game. I'll tell you what, he's looking as good as he's wrecked. He's wrecked now.
Great, yeah.
But he's done one hell of a job, and he's not stopped. He keeps on trying to get to that byline.
Eleni Yoro sprinting after the ball, beaten to it by Chalobah on the far side. Both teams playing with 10, remember. And we're about to move into stoppages here. The fourth official is the board ready to present.
You notice that Chalobah again went to ground there with a sliding tackle.
On a yellow.
He's on a yellow. It's the second time you've taken that chance. I used to play with a player, his nickname was Ditcher. And I never knew why until I watched him play, and it's because every tackle was a last-ditch tackle.
I like that.
That's a wee bit like Chalobah today. Every tackle was a last-ditcher.
Will there be a bit of last-ditch drama here at Old Trafford? 2-1 to Manchester United. 7 minutes have been added on. Can Chelsea make those 7 minutes count? It's going to seem like an eternity for Manchester United fans. Tyreek George battling for it, hasn't been able to hold up the ball, and then his enthusiasm, he's trying to make an impact, Tyreek George, but he's giving away a lot of free kicks, and that one he fouled Kobbie Mainoo. Free kick to Manchester United. Surely they'll take as long as they dare over this.
Yeah, well, they've been doing that for quite some time with the corner kicks, etc., and the throw-ins. As much as the other thing you have to remember, Manchester United, you know, a lot of experience has gone off the field, particularly in Bruno Fernandes as well. So again, if Chelsea can get themselves together, just get a few moves together, you just never know.
Well, in Manchester United's last home game here, Bruno Fernandes got the winning penalty against Burnley in the 97th minute. And Chelsea, of course, who conceded a very late equaliser against Brentford last weekend. So both teams have had matches involving late goals recently. Is there still time for a late goal here? This action-packed afternoon at Old Trafford. It's been incident-filled. So much has happened over the last couple of hours here. Reece James infield to Moises Caicedo. Chelsea still inside their own half. Chelsea playing from left to right, defending the Stretford end. Chalobah's played a decent through ball here. Tyreek George is going to sprint after it, but he's offside. Pat, you were shaking your head. As soon as the pass was played there, you knew he was offside.
It's not a good run. You've got to bend your run at that point in time. The Manchester United line's very, very clear and very, very obvious. If you're a wide man or an attacker or a striker, you know where the line is. Don't go too early. And again, it's just a little bit of naivety there. And it's one of the things about Chelsea. They're going to have naivety. A lot of them are young. That's the thing you've got to learn. And maybe if you look at Chelsea just now, just think about them for a minute. You can compare them to, say, Liverpool if they get out of 10 men, or Arsenal if they get out of 10 men. It's more structured, it's more organised, they know what they're doing. Feels a wee bit slapdash, a wee bit haphazard the way Chelsea have done.
Yeah, just very strange circumstances today. This hasn't been a regular game, but it's how you cope with that adversity that often is the telling of a team and a manager. I think Maresca's trying to be really decisive, but there was so long to go. There were still twists and turns that he couldn't foresee at that time. Andre Santos has possession for Chelsea. Still time, still over 5 minutes of stoppages to go. Chalobah up to the halfway line. Back into Andre Santos, who I noticed played both games for Brazil in the September international break. That's how highly he's thought of in his homeland. Enzo Fernandez plays it to Reece James down the right wing. An early delivery in. By Ndir has only fumbled. Andre Santos tried to finish it in. And Kobbie Mainoo cleared away. Well, Manchester United survived, but that was tightrope stuff for just a moment.
Mentioning Reece James before. He has been spectacular these last 20 minutes. You expect him to run out of gas and just no legs left. He is flying down that line, and he's putting in crosses like he did 3, 4, 5 years ago.
That cross nearly causing trouble. Ahmad is offside as he tries to catch it through on the far side. The flag goes up, and that comes back for a free kick to Chelsea. Right, we are midway through the 7 minutes now of stoppages. 3.5 to go.
Yeah, Chelsea will just want one more chance. Man United, they're just naturally, they're falling further and further back. And many times at Old Trafford we've seen them pushing in the last few minutes. Well, looks like the other way around this time.
Ross Kemp and Chris Sutton will be ready to take your calls. 08085 909 693. Calls free from mobile and landlines. You can text 85058 at your standard message rate. Your chance to get involved on the air on 5 Live to discuss this game and indeed anything else up and down the football pyramid today on 606, which is coming up very shortly here on 5 Live. Malo Gusto, low ball into the penalty area. Tyreek George, I think cleverly tried to allow that past his body there, but De Ligt wasn't buying the dummy and he puts it out for a corner. Corner to Chelsea late on at Old Trafford.
Jorgensen's asking the question. He's getting the no. I don't think that's Maresca's style, really, is it? To allow Goalkeeper come up with a whole 2 minutes.
Goalkeeper wondering could he be the keeper who comes on as the sub and scores the late equalising goal, but he's been told to stay back. Everyone else is forward for Chelsea. Both teams finishing this game with 10 men. The 95th minute, High swirling in the rain, Bayern Deer with a solid punch. That's his best piece of goalkeeping today. Manchester United needed it at that moment, and it's cleared all the way down to the other half of the pitch, and Caicedo will come. There's no press for Manchester United. They know Chelsea are going to throw everything at them now. They're staying back. Here is Enzo Fernandez trying to dribble his way into the penalty area. Takes it too much. He wants a penalty, but it's not happening. And now Chalobah one-on-one defending against Ahmad. An uncertain touch, but he's done well. He recaptured the situation so well there, Chalobah. And now he plays a good ball in front of João Pedro. And Chelsea aren't giving up yet. Here comes the cross from the right-hand side. Ugarte's clearance was ugly, but Luke Shaw keeps it in play. Shaw can't keep possession, though. Back to Reece James. We mentioned he was knackered, and he falls over there. And Torgu's able to take it away from him. And we've got 90 seconds of stoppages to go, and Matheus Cunha comes dribbling forward, and Tosin has tripped him, and Tosin is going to get a yellow card for that, and Manchester United get a free kick, and they will hope that they can keep the ball down that end of the pitch now through to the end of this very traumatic game at Old Trafford this evening. Still Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1.
It's been really good the last week. It's all over the place. Well done, Reece James, just trying to get forward there, but when the ball was lost, he fell over. For a moment it was 3 against 1 in Manchester United's favour, but they didn't have the energy to run away with it, and they didn't have the technique either. And even when Tosin eventually gets back, he probably shouldn't go to ground there. He should probably say, no, he's tiring, I'll get back there. He's giving away a free kick. It's eaten up those few extra seconds that Chelsea needed to use. So although I understand why he gave that free kick away, took the yellow card, I'm not sure it was the best idea.
It's been an entertaining game. I know Chelsea fans will be disappointed to be behind here, but you can't take your eyes off this. It's been remarkable. But we speak about professionalism and structure and composure and discipline, and there's been so little of that in the game. And in the driving rain and the howling wind, and it's all been so scattered, as Manchester United managed to win themselves a corner, and we are now 10 seconds away from the completion of the 7 that were due to be added on. So it's all at the referee's discretion now, and Manchester United preparing to celebrate what is, let's face it, a rare